Immediately went for the AR.
Things for certain, they're always explosive. Look at this fight here, Jacob.
Yeah, see him just trying to go ahead and box him up. Gets the down. Just two angles sometimes hard to overcome, especially in these off-spawn fights where you don't have a lot of materials. You see Amplified trying to hide. I did see in the feed his teammate did go down to Kugo and Castle, but a third party comes in. That's going to give him a little bit of a blessing to try to assess this situation over at the coast. But a whole nother team comes in as well. Three teams straight fighting it out here to try to figure out how they can get some early points.
Who the hell is Castle?
There goes Castle going down. Fan is going to go ahead and get that first.
See, like a tier 2?
A little bit of advantage. Him and Angel seem to storm this fight, and it seems to be working out.
Yeah, they're doing a good job kind of cleaning things up right here. You saw Tsunami's Amplify kind of lurking on the outside.
What the hell is this guy? Estra.
Uncertain of whether or not he had
oh, clix. Clix just killed somebody.
Himself, but seems
off
like
Sanzo.
He doesn't want to get into this fight. It's a little too messy.
Clix winning it all! He's winning it all! The FNCS champ! He's gonna go back to back after he gets out of heats.
A nice little elimination there. Some points on the board, and everyone else.
Yeah, you know, in West, Lacey is winning.
To be able to survive this fight.
Lacey is winning West.
Now, but they're just trying to venture on out so that way they hope to get their reboot card and their teammate back in the game later on. Clix and Rapid getting busy early on as
Good
well.
chance.
They already got that one elimination, and even though they might be uncontested here, Monster, they're looking for some early game fights.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't want a situation like we saw yesterday where some teams,
your voice,
a little hesitant, right, to make a move in game number 1, put yourself
Praise.
into the action. It takes you back to kind of
like a lot of them are carrying the thing now.
Themselves right on the wrong side of the storm surge for game 1.
Bucky,
kind of set them off.
Ager's coming up.
Come back, but look at this. We were curious about how the fight was going to go down. Bucky
Bucky's
and Cam had a lot of choice words to say about how they felt.
Bino knows he's there.
Drop this entire time, and it'd be crazy for anyone to think that they can just jump on over to the harbor and take the drop from them, but
they know he's in there somewhere.
Veno has the lead here.
Yep, and you can already see what's in Ager's inventory here. He does have the scanner, so they don't necessarily have to lurk around super hard, take many big risks. They just need to figure out what building they think Bucky is in, and then throw that scanner nearby. So hiding is going to be very, very limited for him. You see the team on the outskirts, Mako and his duo, just trying to go ahead and get their split drop.
Oh, Mako and Hunsy and Buck.
Out goes the scanner now, and now Bucky's position is going to be revealed. And this is the thing about contested fights. Sometimes you're okay with letting that solo live, but in this situation,
get out, Bucky! Come on,
Bucky! Take down Bucky, they're going to let that one go to waste.
Yeah, they have to allow themselves to take a huge
lead over
Bucky and really give him no chance to go to finals. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem that's going to come back around to visit them later in a finals lobby. So for Veno, for Agers, the option is very clear. It's them versus Bucky and Cam all day today. They're going to do everything in their power to hold them back.
They're letting him go.
Take a pause right now to see that there's no HP in either one of the guys' inventory here. So they have to kind of revert back on over towards that vending machine.
Why are they letting him go?
Enough gold to get the med kits, to get the chug jug. Definitely going to have a wide selection at their disposal, but why they take this time?
Is Vino IGLing or fragging now?
An escape plan here, as King and Praise also uncontested.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Phoenix.
They're an aggressive team, Monster.
Phoenix just got raped by Tingling.
In that same fashion.
Wait, I thought Praise was playing with Booga.
Right here. You saw them at the summit.
No, that's Braids.
Performances. I mean, in the practice room, King was someone who was slowly and surely earning everyone's respect.
Is the quack snack
how good he is
bug still
in
a
these
thing?
Types of box fights, head-to-head environments, he tends to win his ones very much regularly.
I don't think so. You can get banned for it.
And already,
but disqualified and worse.
Meanwhile, we have Skittles, Koi in here. They're kind of playing the zone right now in the chop shop. They pull the zone up towards this way, so they have a lot of time to work with. But again, this is kind of unfortunate, right? I feel like if you get the zone this early and you're playing Storm, you are not going to have enough damage.
Gotta agree with you 100% there, especially since we've already seen a lot of the teams rotate inwards.
Booga.
There's not going to be too many options here. As Kugo finally seeing him still rotate up from the cluster.
Can the lion roar again?
Still going to get his duo back into it. A lot of this coastline.
Booga's he's primed as hell right now.
Go up towards Golden Grove here. Booga and Brady.
You know who's really primed and scary right now? Poyo. Oh, he just hunting people down.
And that's why it's getting kind of dangerous here while teams are kind of lurking in. But the biggest resource here and why teams are lurking here from their split drops is the amount of metal you're able to farm.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the remnants of other boxes from players kind of refreshing.
What's the name of this place again?
Warming up their material counts. There's still a loose solo here, though.
Golden
lurking
Grove?
inside. This
Yeah.
is going to be helpful for Bugha, though. Because this team's likely to be
Console
caught
stuff
out
got so
first.
boring to me that it low-key started pissing
Bugha
me off.
Braids will be able to
Because the
kind of jump
shield
on the
has like such a
opportunity as they
weird
get the extra
hitbox.
download of the information of where the teams are. For now, though, everyone's pretty patient here. Even Bugha Braids kind of eyeing that duo on the outside. Just kind of waiting this one out. Really trying to buy time here.
Just like we saw Kugo already swim north, it almost looks like Steely might be by himself, trying to do the same thing, follow that path, avoid potential danger at the Grove.
Another
Kind of see Kanata and Sphinx. Very, very similar drop as we saw yesterday with Aoxy and Jojo Fishy, that top mountain. They have the benefit to kind of look down at either one of the contested fights at their disposal. Try to
Where's Zen?
so since it is very, very early on, you kind of see the base that they're
Alas.
knowing that most of the teams on the eastern
Who?
side of the map are going to have
He's
a way to get in.
one of my guys that watches my stream.
Kanata had the bulk of the ammo there, too. Sphinx was looking a little
I think he's a
light.
guy.
We'll have to group up together here shortly. Meanwhile,
pretty
more
sure.
rotates coming through the Heatwave Harbor. I'm seeing the feed light up as
I thought he
Kingaling
was playing with
finds
Wave.
another duo. So,
Who?
again, Craze and King
Shan.
just kind of doing their thing right now. Popping
Who the hell's
off, finding
Boji?
points. Reflexing on the competition here.
There's so many
You
randoms.
saw the
Oh!
graphic, right? It said that there are 9
Curve and Higgs,
finalists,
bruh.
9 champions, sorry.
Higgs,
The most of any
use a
heat
dang,
in
use a
this
damn
particular
chug
heat.
splash,
This is
bro.
by far a very
Use a damn chug splash, bro. You're at
competitive lobby we're going
HP.
And you
Need
see
50.
players like, Higgs and
Use a
Kerr.
damn shield pot.
In their play-ins, Monster, you kind of look at a lot of their stats.
damn
They
shield
got
pot.
16th, not necessarily the best on the leaderboard, but 215 eliminations. 9 games with 10-plus eliminations or more. They had 4 games with 20-plus eliminations, one of the highest in this lobby outside of maybe Peterbot and Poyo. It just goes to show, when that switch gets flipped, they can turn it on, they can get aggressive, but they can
Cooper Reed.
also have a slower pace game over towards Lifty Lodge. They know the zone is working in their favor.
Sometimes
They
I think
overstay
these
their
like announcers
welcome.
don't know
They
what the
have
hell
a
they're
vending
talking
machine,
about.
which no other teams are going to touch. So right now, it does look like game 1 looking sound for them. Just like
Sometimes
Reed
they
and
don't.
Cooper, uncontested.
Sometimes they don't.
Land, and they waste no time making
The only
it
one that really knows is was
They
it
have one of the
Vavid?
stronger drops, of course.
The guy who stares in the soul of the
See
camera.
reflective of the loadout,
Oh,
but
Vino,
Veno, Agers,
Kingling,
the hunt now to fight,
Craze.
find action, laid them to Craze and King. This is a tough battle here. I mean, we've hyped
Show
up
me
King and Craze
clicks!
enough. This is about to be the point where
I want to see
they get
clicks.
to show us of whether or not what we said was all smoke
The
and mirrors,
FNCS
or
champ.
they really do have what it takes. Agers, Veno kind of backing off here, looking at
0.5.
almost get themselves situated a bit more.
1
King and Craze
1.25.
recognizing, hey, this
No,
might be a really
0.25.
good team. Look, they kind of back off.
Hey,
the
Peter
machine
counts
here,
it sorta,
Go back into the storm as a safety
but
strap.
Peter said he's not. He said he was gonna go bald if he won FNCS, but Peter said this don't
Real
fully
reason to
count.
make
So he
progress
said
in this game, especially when it's
when he
success
wins an
in
FNCS, a
off-spawn
real one,
fight,
he go bald
necessarily get
permanently.
both of those eliminations, but hey, they're definitely progressing in the right direction as we go back on over towards the Battlewoods. We know more and more teams coming from the north side of the map, or even the eastern edge, will try to make their way on over. I think it's the slower, less occupied side of the zone. But we saw how contested the battle was right out of the gate.
You know, so in Grands and EU, I really want to watch Darm and Damus.
They just parked that ship, and
They're just like such like
underdogs.
underdogs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have this entire southern half.
Six,
Battle with
6,
themselves.
7.
So very much situated right now. Take a look at the map. Still so many teams
Hinato.
playing the outer skirts of the zone right now.
Is it Canito or Canado?
But here comes the outer edge congestion that's going to start taking place here. This is where things are getting real interesting here shortly. For Sinetto, though, this duo has really not much to worry about, but now that the Surge has revealed itself, they're eyeing up this duo across from them, and they're going to go for the Shockwave play, likely.
Yeah, this is kind of the mind games that Storm Surge plays. You're 90 above that damage threshold, which kind of is like, cool, I don't have to worry about anything for this zone. But as you progress in the game, if you don't land any more shots, you will find yourself below that damage threshold. So
190,
leaves you
Leaf
with
and
a choice.
Ozone.
Do I go for damage early where not too many players are kind of
Golden and
squished close
Ozone, yeah.
together in a close proximity, or do I wait till later
Where's
in the game
Madden
where panic
at?
starts to set in all
Cole
around
and
the
Madden.
lobby? Definitely decisions need to be
Did they
made.
split?
See,
Ozone,
I'm pretty sure
contested fight,
Madden
so
was
they
playing
have
with
to
Miro
that
when
one.
they
Just waiting in a bush.
then Miro dropped
Not
them.
trying to build to give away their
To go with-
locations,
to
trying
go to
see if anybody
Mason.
strolls by and makes a mistake.
And
Was
then
it Mason?
Yeah,
I'm
he
so
has a nice
confused.
look to be playing,
Yeah,
especially
he
here
dropped
on the
Mason.
outskirts of the zone.
Hold
and
on.
Little did they know they're about to get paid off.
check Twitter.
There's other duos working their way towards them here.
Those two
See Zeely
samurai.
right beneath him. Now, do remember when we last saw Zeely, he was a solo, so these guys are
Zeely.
really
Savage
not
Green
much
Claw.
to work with. Oh, God.
They just
opened with a
melted
huge shot.
Zeely and other guy.
Very smart by Golden trying to break the structure down. Zeely goes down. There it is. He gets rewarded. So I'm thinking they understand his team's
Mongo and
underserved.
Savage
That's
will be
going to be
contesting
all the
each other.
telling that they need here.
LCQ.
Yeah, that's just a huge signal. You don't necessarily
Mongrel's
see it in
IGLing.
game. I know us kind of casting it.
Savage
you see
are
players
contesting
get, like,
each other.
by Storm Surge. You don't necessarily see
Why
it on
the
game.
hell
Only real
is
proof
Mongrel
that IGLing
IGLing?
cracking or just like that, no knock.
He's a fragger, but he has like more experience than anybody in this scene, basically, other than Mr. Savage and Booga.
Rewarded tenfold. Patience, absolutely.
Isn't Mongrel like a
pays off for
4-time
both in the
FNCS
zone.
winner?
Now they're gonna
Or
see
is it like,
more and more opportunities with other
3
teams
times?
outside of the zone making their way in.
Yeah, that was crazy. That team is
Isn't
keying
Benji
them. They
Fishy
probably are
a,
also below
FNCS
the
winner
surge, so
too?
We'll see what ends up happening there. Meanwhile, Sinetto, Zikta, they took too long to
Where's
initiate
Pete-
the battle.
where's
on
Pete
the
and
team that's
Pollo?
on the outskirts. They find themselves
Pete
by
and
themselves
Pollo
now at the
and
Battle of
Clix.
Woods here. And look, they have to fight their way
I think
towards
it
the
might be
rest of the lobby
Storm.
here now. Finding themselves barely 40 above. Seems like something worked out in their favor.
Praise.
But either way,
King
pressure
Ling's
is
still
on them.
alive?
This little opportunity they have right now to kind of reset, get back in the game, they shouldn't take it for granted. They need to be looking for activity here.
Yeah, they might not be in desperation mode just yet. You can see a bunch of empty item slots. I saw maybe 20
Zift.
on Chug in Sinetto's inventory. So they might be all fighting
Has
dandy
0
above the damage
meds.
threshold, but they know
They need a refresh bad.
where current stands, their loadout, the amount of resource they have, they're going to need an elimination. And even now,
Yeah,
in the
it
next
was
zone, they fall
Mason.
below that damage threshold even
on
worse.
that.
You see him setting up for a pre-edit. They're on the clock here. They have to go, and
They'll
they have to go
edit
now.
now.
Craze and King is the only team in front. They're trying to spray the build, get the pre-edit in, but King and Craze deny that opportunity 2
Well,
consecutive
Zift-
times,
Zift is
getting
dead.
more and more damage onto Zypta and Sinetto without even moving a
Zift.
finger.
Yeah, this is tough spots for them to be in. They find Unreal Liana.
Oh!
They get in the box. There's not going to be enough damage if they get the body, but just like that, doesn't
Just
really
like
matter.
that, their first game's
King
over.
and Craze timed their entry perfect off of that desperate team collapsing in, and they find themselves with even more
Jinxie's,
points now.
streaming right
7
now with
eliminations,
Ozzy.
and we've barely touched the end game now. This is quite the performance for King and Craze.
That's just one of those moments, man, for King
Where's-
and Craze. They just make it into zone.
Where's
no
Clix?
intention of fighting. They're the ones who actually get aggressed on for a second.
Clix right there.
And then when
Clix
the dust
rapid.
settles monster, they get 4 bodies.
Peter
worth
Vault.
of
He has a
loot.
great
Go
pump.
ahead and progress in this game as Boji does go down. 406
Pollo
above
have.
the damage
Of
threshold,
green.
so the damage is not necessarily going
Peter
to be
has
right
the
for
better,
bottom Pollo,
long
especially
range,
with
and
13
Pollo has the better
eliminations
short
here.
range.
It's more so about making it
Oh,
outside
and
of
Peter-
this
and
mountain
Pollo just killed
or through
somebody.
this cave.
This is really interesting. Another elimination.
Re
now
got
going
revived.
to Oyo's side here. Just getting the last little touch of damage here before the surge actually supports them, but Oyo's not going to let this one up. They've intentionally chosen to come down and into this tunnel. They, of course, prefer to put themselves in a more advantageous spot.
Okay, okay,
Oyo
hey.
looking pretty good right now.
Why is everyone targeting Peter, bro?
Storm hopefully finds some material.
Are they that
They
afraid
wanna
of
play
him?
This end game out comfortably.
Be light.
Regardless, though, the way
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of zones playing out here, we'll be seeing them get active.
Oh, they're gonna
here.
have to rotate first,
Yeah, they know how to
basically.
find eliminations. They already got 3. Just looking towards the side, seeing Frenzy, seeing his duo. They immediately go to work. Frenzy's gonna
He
get
got the
first going
kill.
down. Clix is able to steal away that second elimination, but nobody's really closing the gap. It's still
Pete's,
too
like,
much
game
risk
sense is
far for
insane.
Peter Pollo to try to dive on over and steal away that loop.
I
You
wish
can
we could
see
hear comms
the
to be like
attempt is
the
in
pros
back
when they
of
looked at their
minds. They know
POI.
they got to go to zone. They know these opportunities will
Which
come
is
as this game
live.
progresses.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
smart.
Pretty
Look,
short.
they're not even going to
Ego.
go for the loot. They
That's the guy who
seem
stole
to
your clan.
recognize, hey, that's a little too risky if we go to the
Yeah.
outskirts, right?
Tingling.
It'll allow the server to
Oh,
single
that's a
itself.
purple
King,
pump.
meanwhile, on the other side, jumps their way up to 8
Peter would like
eliminations,
that.
taking a little bit of that prestigious high ground
Pollo's
there.
not. No,
But
Pollo's
Ken is
dead.
gonna get
Pollo's
situated first.
dead.
Reed and Cooper have the high ground. Pollo lost on the rotate here. It was going to be a tough one. We knew it, but they needed that material.
Rapid
They were
kill
pretty
Pollo.
desperate for it. Just as they were working their way across, they got caught out here.
Oh!
Rapid on the other side of the box here.
Rapid kill
Might
Pollo.
actually make a really big play here.
Is Peter?
More so,
Is
you see
Peter's
Rapid
solo
trying to
bot?
put down
He
pressure
just
on
killed.
one
He just,
finds Poyo. Wasn't even his
Wow.
initial target, but sometimes Montesino
It's an
just gotta
above.
take what you can
Skittle.
get. And you can see why
I don't like
Peterbot was
Skittle.
so
For some
concerned
reason,
with
I've
them
always
on the
disliked
other
him.
side of that wall. But as you
They
see
need
where the
qual,
zone is going,
2
right now we're
greens,
slightly
like the
moving
last
up
lane,
towards the
and
top
then
of
go.
that mountain. If it goes towards the west, if it goes
Oh.
towards the east, we'll keep that one in
Skittle.
play. Anywhere else, it'll gradually get easier for the lobby. But you
I feel
have
like they'd
to
be
be
better
able to
on
survive
west.
up until that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not even sure if we saw the conclusion of Veno Agers hunting down Bucky, who got away. So it seems like
No, Clix could
that's
get
still
another
an
FNCS win
ongoing
on West.
situation, but
don't
Veno's the
really
one that
count.
is obviously making their appearance here in this endgame. I see Booga and Braid still standing.
Clix.
Clix and Rapid seem to be off to a strong start. Meanwhile,
How many kills did
Eyebrows
Clix have?
now gets sniped up by Veno. That's a key elimination for them. My gosh. Gets the elim, and now they get to rotate in time without taking any extra damage. Let's talk about a
This is
perfect
basically
tournament
like
for them.
FNCS. How stacked it
Trying to
is.
figure out how they even got up there.
Oh,
Who you think
Wow.
wins this
It's
first
just
game?
Step by step, he
Clix.
climbed up the mountain.
Oh,
He
Reese.
think
took out
Beno
Cyclops. We saw Beno and Age.
I
one
bet-
side
I
of
bet
the
channel
high ground.
points
On the
that
other,
Clix
Reed
would
and
win.
Cooper probably reading that they did pull
I'm up
zone.
with
They
Clix.
immediately build up trying to keep
Oh,
it.
Rate and
A lot
Cooper
of
is up on
extra
height.
heals in
So.
their inventory, but in
No.
the 8th zone,
Controller
39
player.
builds on Reed. You gotta
No.
hope Cooper has more because right now it is looking a little light to hold it for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
They know
definitely. I mean,
Peter's
and
down
I
there.
was just gonna say, you know, they're gonna have to shockwave across, right, and get situated here if they want to have complete control.
Boga killed Rapid.
Testing. I see Rapid down. Don't forget, Peterbot's still playing this
He's
as a
not built
solo
on the
right now
trade
as
anymore.
well. So, few big teams still surviving here. Clix now has to play this one out as a solo.
Why does
bot
Boga
as
have
well.
6 in his
Raids
name?
on the other side of the wall alongside Booga. Clix though tries to fight his way
Yeah,
into the chug
that's
splash.
his
Definitely
points.
worth it. Meanwhile, here's Peterbot's POV. 4 elims now has made his way to the new zone.
Peter
Biggs
still
is
has that
still alive.
damn
Download
gray
information
pump.
here.
Wait, clutch and Peter solo clutch?
No, but these are some of the times
1v1
best
for the
players in
win.
the world as a team. But there's just a different freedom when you're a solo, not having to
He's
worry
gonna
about
land on
anybody but
Clix and
yourself.
kill him.
That's what we're seeing here.
By pure
Side
accident.
by side, Peterbot and Clix, same scenario. It almost looks like two different outcomes coming out. Peterbot just putting full on aggression onto a whole nother
Why is
duo, not
Clix
scared to back down.
is
He
like-
takes too much
why-
damage
why-
there in
why
that
is his first
situation.
slot
Forces
his
to stagger
mobility?
himself outside of the zone. Without any shockwaves, it's going to be
I
tough for
missed
him to
this
find his
over
way back
playing.
easily.
This is crazy. Peterbot goes for the full
Oh,
HP
no.
play as he tries to fight his way to mid-ground layer, but he gets put down. Meanwhile, Veno
Higgs is
and
dead.
Agers are still going here. Veno leading the charge here, finding the knock. Agers gets the follow-up right behind him. They're now at 3 eliminations here. Players on all sides of their walls, but opted to play the ultimate low
Shit.
ground. Meanwhile, Crazy and King are elim leaders right now at 10
Cooper killed
eliminations
Tyree.
and still running through the lobby here. They have control, complete control actually of the mid-ground layer here.
And then looking
Oh, he found a green pump.
briefly aiming at Booga and
He's
Braid.
slightly more
Peterbot still
deadly.
lurking around. You see
Oh, he has 1 build left.
40 builds to 2. He's under pressure.
Love.
King's gonna get dropped. Craze left by himself. Only 70 on the chug
King
jug.
going
No
down.
way for him to get back.
He
up
got
to
full
HP
refresh.
shield without an elimination. Meanwhile, Peterbot's gonna get the elimination onto King.
What am I
Veno and Agers down below. They're going ahead and dodging all the chaos up
No.
above.
Yeah, listen, there's so many teams fighting their way through the mid
Pete.
layers because it
Come on,
went
Pete.
down,
Come
back
on.
down,
Come
kind of
on.
that mountain. But with Veno dropping to the ultimate low, now they're the first to take advantage of the teams trying to find their footing here. And this is working out so well. Look at the high ground position.
Is
though.
Pete still
It's
alive?
Booga versus Cooper. Booga ends up on top. Braids is still holding on though.
What's
They're
this?
trying to re-situate themselves here, but it's
Booga on
cost them
hot.
everything. They have no more
Is
materials
Pete
left.
dead?
Yeah, you just gotta hope that Braids
No.
has just
No.
enough for them, trying to pass them.
No, he found another kill! He found 2 more kills!
Back to back, getting
Holy.
both of those eliminations. Monster, we saw him almost on 0.
Oh
build
my
a
gosh!
couple of seconds ago.
He's going for it!
Time flies, and now he's going up for the high.
Oh!
We know he's gonna contest it all. 1v2
Oh.
situation. He's trying to bring him back down to reality as he drops down.
He just went up there for the vine and shot him.
That is not going my way.
Peterbot is just different, right? You see the recognizing that he can go for something
Wait,
big there.
was
Meanwhile,
that-
Peterbot versus
was that
Clix.
Pete?
Clix didn't want anything to do with that solo player. He had no idea it was Peterbot, but one thing
Wait,
was certain.
has no
It
idea
was
it's Pete.
danger nearby, and off he goes. I like this.
The
play
only
by
other
Clix,
solo
trying to
near
stay
him is
alive
Pete!
here and earn as many placement points as possible. This is a true clutch for both Peterbot, Booga, Clix, Veno. All these guys still holding on here in the lobby. Peterbot's still hunting right now, though.
Please.
Gets away.
Pete, Clix.
Cooper, another
Whoa, 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 whoa!
different
Clix
player.
got the refresh!
And they are playing
Clix.
out of their minds here.
This game one is proving that primetime players making
Pete's dead!
time plays.
Pete's dead!
Holy.
Finally get
Come on,
shut down.
Clix!
His run
Come
has
on!
come to an end.
Come
But at
on!
what cost? One of the duos just got separated. Jez and Jerem goes down. 5
Come
left
on,
by
Clix!
himself. That is because of Clix.
Kanata's a solo!
Kanata does it again.
Is
Takes
this
out
solo
the other
FNCS?
part of that
Come on,
duo.
Clix!
A lot of these solos
Come on!
are doing a lot
They're the duo.
of the heavy lifting. That duo up above, they could smooth sail their way into a
It's
victory
his build.
royale.
Listen, no pressure here for
Oh, it's
Clix
Booga.
or Kanata. They've done enough at solo.
Come on,
They pushed
Booga,
their
sail,
way to
sail.
the end game.
Oh, no!
Pressure on their shoulders to perform here. Raids falls first, but it's okay.
Booga's one and done.
Back him up in the end there, Jacob.
What did Kelly say
Holy,
on
that was
day one?
insane.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. No, he is awake.
The lion roars again!
Now punched his ticket to the FNCS Major 2 Grand Finals.
I'm just gonna say, Booga! That's why you can never count out the lion. That's why you never count out Booga. That's why every
Booga.
time we look at Booga, we go, ooh, like Kelly said, ooh, this guy's so washed. Ooh, shut up, you don't know anything. Are you a lion? I don't think so. No, Kelly was.
I don't think so.
Kelly, oh my gosh.
Oh. Crazy stuff there, Kelly. But yeah, I mean, listen, Booga and Braids there jumping into the action. Came number one. How in the heck have they done it? Kind of returning to the big stage here. Listen, this is exactly what we want to see from Booga and Braids. Obviously, we wanted to see them make it to the grand
What the
finals,
heck,
but
bro?
for
That
that
was so, it's so
statement to
cool
be
at the
made
end.
as well, right? If you come out swinging, if you come out
Boga's
winning
guaranteed.
game number one, I feel
What's
like
with
it
this
adds a
stupid
little
ass
bit more
smirk?
emphasis, if you know what I mean. And I kind of talked about it. The last time that we have unfortunately seen Booga himself
look
in
wider
an
than Ghost on there.
FNCS finals was Chapter 6, Major number 3. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him at Global Championships, we didn't get to see him in Major 1 finals, and we did not get to see him at the Summit. So that's why it has been
After
a
the-
long time since we've seen Booga himself.
After
That's
this
why
is
the
over, I'm gonna
conversations
shower.
are starting to kind of rile up. Oh man, how good is Booga?
We might not do
This is
the
what he
duo
needed. He
thing.
needed a statement to be made.
What is
here
trying
in
the,
Heat. Obviously, we want to see
Clix
him
in-game
continue
thing.
on with a performance like this in
I
the
want
grand
that,
finals.
Logan.
But I'm really
I can do it with
liking
Logan
what
then.
I'm seeing here, Zeke.
We're
Dude,
gonna do
it
Clix
looks
in-game
so
thing.
good. It's crazy. You guys didn't hear Kelly's just crazy joke. She just got me to laugh so hard. But I agree, man. It's crazy to see them, and the fact that we saw so many different fights there. Like the fact that they jumped up. Like we saw Cooper and Reed on the height, and Booga was like, "Bro, I'm going up there. I'm going into overdrive. I'm taking the fight to them," and then they walk away with a win in game number
The lion
1.
roars again!
I mean, dude, this looks
Have a
so
proposition.
good. Kelly,
Huh?
are you there?
I think we should go back to co-op.
Sounds like you are.
I can do main IGL.
Booga washed. Please do not say that. I was not calling
never said
Booga
that.
I want
washed.
Angle.
I was saying that
that's
other
whenever
people were
I
calling him
collect
washed.
come more
But
alive.
regardless, congratulations to Booga and Braids.
We can both make calls to
That's
in-game
right.
though,
Guys,
but
we're gonna go to
I
a
think
break.
our
When we
best
return,
route
we're gonna take a look at
is
some of the
height, but if we don't have
unfoldings of
height, we
game
need to
number
play.
one by
I mean,
taking
if we
a
don't
look
have
at the
mats for
settings.
height,
So,
we gotta play
see you
low,
right after this.
which is low ground's my best. My best.
See, in endgame, it's best that you keep up with me instead of me trying to keep up with you.
Yeah, but if I make the call not to go for height, we're not going for height unless we have enough.
Just make sure I have all the hordes. I'll put us in positions to do good.
Look what
Just get me to endgame.
I'm gonna send you something
I what?
on the Discord.
Holy! Flipping. I ain't even gonna say it.
Nazis, bro. 2 minutes.
I'll be right back.
Let's see if Lucas said anything.
I'll be right back.
Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100? 100? Oh my god, look, 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 look.
Milk can help you grow. Milk can't prevent your ride from blasting into space.
Welcome back, Fortnite fam, to the FNCS. Game number 1 goes the way of Booga and Braids. That's right. Let's just stop questioning Booga on everything, okay? He's Mr. World Cup. Don't forget it. All right, though. A lot of, man, so much action happened in that last game with so many duos we're just used to seeing, or players that are, remember, we've seen a massive swap up. It kind of feels like sometimes, Kelly, every duo looked at each other like, hey, everybody move one to your left, and then that's the new duos. But in that last game, obviously, as we start to take a look at the standings, we see a lot of names here in this top 10 by themselves.
87.
Man, also
I
a reminder,
have 2
if we go
PR
to
missing.
Royale, we go to next week's finals. That means we're not going to be seeing Booga and Braids anymore today. Look forward to them next weekend. Or we need to end in the top 10 win consistency, which is basically the top 15. Kelly, Kanata Sphinx, currently first place.
Look at that, Kanata and Sphinx after that last game, and we saw that Kanata was a solo, but I feel like everyone at the end of that game besides Booga and Braze was a solo. We had Clix, we had Peter, and then of course Kanata, though. It's those eliminations that they were able to garner on the low ground because there was just so much
Okay, I
chaos
officially have
going
87
on.
PR on my thing.
However, I will say,
I'm
we
supposed
saw
to have
what I would
80,
consider a more
88.9.
typical high
I'm missing
ground than
1.9
what we've seen
PR.
in heats for days 1 and 2.
Or it could have like
everything was
you know,
actually going
like
so
brought you
crazy
down a
for
little bit.
Aegis and Veno
Rounded
there.
down or something?
Obviously, we did see them kind of steal away the high ground on the back foot of Veno, kind of making a little bit of a sneaky
I'm gonna go turn on my
play
AC.
up there to kind of steal it away is what it pretty much felt like. We're going to take a look at it right here. Just kind of walks up and is like, hey, by the way, I want high ground. Thank you very much. But after this moment, I mean, if you take a look at the material count and how they were kind of doing with their loadouts, they were doing kind of fine. But you fast forward just a little bit and they're no longer up on the high ground. So they actually opted to potentially go ahead and give that one up. But after this, yeah, I thought they would kind of look to control the high ground, but they dropped all the way down to the lower ground. Of course, they do end up having a good game, but it feels like they could have potentially given up that win condition here in game number 1.
Man, it looks, I'm shocked. I'm like reliving this game. And when I just look over my notes, I've written so many things. We talked about Kanata there and Sphinx in kind of in our first place for the moment. Let's look at second place, which is Clix and Rapid. Guys, the fact that they got third place, Clix being solo in this game, given how chaotic that was. I mean, Kelly, I'm liking this duo right now. I can't lie. I feel like Clix has a bit of, you know, confidence that I feel like maybe he's been missing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that momentum has definitely been picking up. It was a little bit
Treat.
lacking when they first formed Clix and Rapid. However, as we've seen the Div Cups and as the season has progressed, there has definitely been a level of confidence and synergy that the two of them have been developing. And honestly, I think the biggest thing that we could have seen right there was Clix coming out with the solo. Obviously, because he is the most popular Fortnite streamer in NAC, if not the world, a lot of people like to put targets on his back. So for Clix to be able to come out in game number 1 as a solo and show up the way that he did is going to allow him
Clix
to kind of
is
prove
third.
to everyone that there is a reason that it's Clix and Rapid, not Rapid and Clix.
Let's go ahead and talk about that top 3 on consistency. I mean, Kanata, solo clutch from him. Clix, a solo clutch from him. But a giant solo clutch from Peter Bot himself. I mean, you know, just, we like to talk about the consistency of duos, but for right now, towards the top of the leaderboard, it has been all about the solo performances. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it quite soon. I think it was actually Clix and Rapid that ended up taking out Polio on the back of Peter Bot, and Polio trying to make a little bit of a rotation
what was
here. So
Bogus
we
POI?
will see Polio go down in just
Golden
a quick
Grove.
moment. But
I
yeah,
wonder if
mean,
anybody
Peter
needs to
Bot
change POI.
kind of reminds everybody. I won't lie. For some reason, I should say for some reason, for good reason, the focus of this duo has kind of shifted to
I think Clix.
Polio
I still
being
think it's
kind of like
Clix.
that star player on this team.
Clix
But
or
Peter
Pete.
Bot
They're both
reminds us
moving right now.
that it's like it's both of them simultaneously. At a moment's notice, either one of them can have that pop-up performance, can kind of have that solo clutch to make sure they stay towards the top of the leaderboard, and that's why they're so scary as a duo.
I love it. And I mean, respects to Peterbot, right? In that situation, he overdrives up. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is kind of crazy. Takes one shot, misses, and goes, you know what? Maybe this isn't the play. And then completely disengages. Like, man, you know, I just love to see Peterbot's like mind moving and then how he reacts. Like, so
He's
crazy.
only thinking about
Guys,
chocolate cake.
We're done. Game 2 is ready. I'm ready to jump back into the action. Casters, are you?
100% ready for sure. I know coming into today, Monster, we knew there was a certain level of excitement to expect.
Look what I
but
responded
out
to
of game
Booga's,
one, early, you even had King and Craze
tweet
felt
to
like
it.
they spawned in with 6 eliminations.
Yeah, and you saw them still way up at the top of the standings based off of their eliminations alone, ending with 60 points earned, over 10 elims, which is crazy. So more than half of their points basically through just eliminations alone there. Jacob, talk about a performance.
Yeah, and I've obviously seen throughout the 2 days already, these solo clutches play a huge impact to being able to not have that desperation game 5 where you need a victory royale. It's going to keep my eyes peeled on that. And when you look at some of the damage stats from game number 1, Peterbot, Veno, King, top 3 in terms of overall damage. And then you have Booga, who already qualified with that last game and leaves a drop spot open. Who's going to take that drop, if anybody? Let's find out.
Well, with game 2 spinning up, you know, I do want to highlight the broadcast made Veno look so good in that last game. Every time we jumped in, it was like we didn't miss a beat on his action. You just saw that he was navigating that low ground so effortlessly, and it almost seemed like no one wanted to go all the way down there. They didn't know what was going on, but either way, they pushed through very well. This is a bigger problem for them.
You got this game.
Right? You see how the drops actually playing out. Bucky and
Bino
Cam
is
go
moving.
straight down for their side of the map. They seem to be getting their
Bucky
weapons first as well,
and-
which is really interesting because that can go either which way. But in the end, Veno and AJ have enough time here, right? They're giving them too much time, I feel like, to get
Why does
situated
Rate
and then take
change his
the fight
name
on
like
their
every 2
terms.
weeks? There's someone else who just came in.
100%, and I think that's just a little
Look
bit
like.
of something they're going to have to learn as the game progresses. And you're going to have to start to act quick as a team like Veno and Agers. Once they get enough points where they feel like they qualified, who knows what type of animals we'll see then. It's Peterbot Pollo, business as usual. We saw this in that last game. They landed at their drop spot.
It's going
Pollo
straight.
does stay in the POI. Peterbot does tend
Wait,
to
where
try
is
to
he
go
going?
for that Warforged Mythic AR this time around. I'm not sure if it actually did spawn there. We'll see if he gets his inventory later. But I talked about Golden Grove, Booga, and Braids winning game number 1. They will not be in the rest of today's action because they're already in the Major 2 finals. And now you have 3 teams now landing at Golden Grove.
Yeah, I was already calling out the fact that there were over 10 duos being contested across the map in general. It is no surprise right now that with Booga qualling this
going
early
down
on
like
POI,
Golden Grove.
he's going to get sniped up right
Yeah,
away.
the whole lobby's
I
going
mean,
Golden
you
Grove.
have a lot
Looks
of
like.
action here. You even have some relatively solid players like Tsunami's
Amplify.
Amplify and Laura's here. Very, very stand-up individuals. They were before kind of taking
Who is
that
it is to
outskirt. We
win?
saw them lurking on that other team fight, but I guess they're doing the math and say, hey, why fight for scraps when we can fight for the whole POI?
I mean, that's usually what I think. If you're going to contest something, make it worth it if you win. But when 4 different teams have that same idea, it kind of turns into a slugfest. Punches being thrown around. Bubba trying to use
Who
the
think wins
shotgun
this
to get a little bit
match?
of advantage on the Amplify. He cracks the shield. He's trying to go ahead and figure out where
I'm
that
not for
elimination's
sure,
at.
like,
You can see he's running
I
out
think
of
it can be
SCG ammo.
Pete, Clix,
Does
or
not
Vino.
have a shotgun. And 0 when it comes to those materials.
Or Reed.
Yeah, one player doesn't have mass,
If
the other
Reed
doesn't
moves.
have ammo. This is a tough spot to be in. Amplify is going to be the first to fall there, unfortunately, and they're getting
Bucky's
hunted
already
down.
dead.
And I had high hopes for Loris. He did get a knock there, so anything can still happen. He still has
Where's all over
a couple
GG
of
at?
shields to work with, but with no
Oh, he
material
fought
count,
this guy.
desperation kicks in. They get hunted and found out.
He
Just
killed
like
Moneymaker
that, those 2 fall.
to
Now
qual.
the RGN duo has arrived
okay.
here. They're looking to clean up house.
Slip and slide their way into that
I
box.
think.
Good damage on the Cyros. Weaving in and out of these boxes to try to stay alive, draw for time. so many of these players either got eliminated or kind of disengaged already, so it's basically a full target on your back until you're just eliminated out of the game altogether. Realize, Afonso, they went ahead and took an opportunity, and they cashed in on it.
Yeah, well played for them. They didn't get a bulk of points, but they got a few. Meanwhile,
Let's clutch
look at
Rapid
this,
down.
clix and Rapid. So much attention on what Rapid brings to this duo.
What
I feel
are
like we were
what are they doing there
discounting
for?
Clix's ability to perform in last game. He really
Why
just
are they not
it's
at
not
the
often I
pyramid?
feel like we see Clix really come out strong in an initial game. Like
Clix is
that,
using the
I
focus.
love what we're seeing. I'm thinking that maybe that pro-am just kind of, you know, broke his mentality a little bit, right? It's, you know, got the weight off his shoulders, and he's feeling good now. He's playing a little bit more freely, a little bit more laxed.
Yeah, you know how like how hard Clix's
Partly that
mental
comes
is
in
like
with
before
how
he won.
relaxed Rapid is as
Because
a
like he
IGL.
literally
I think he
like
understands
hated
mistakes
playing the
happen in
game.
the course of a game of Fortnite. It's just
He has
about how he
9,000
reacts and
hours on the
handles
game,
those
by the way.
mistakes. Clix still lurking around. We see the pre-edit coming in. That's going to be the first wall being taken. They're trying to push him back further and further. This is where they do have to
That
be careful.
pre-edited
The fight
wall.
gets chaotic. Sometimes mistakes too tend to happen, but that team that they're going up against fully disengages, going underneath.
Did they
one
just
way
want
in,
the
one
chug
way
jug?
out, and that's where Clix and Rapid have to make the decision to disengage because it's not worth their time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was sick.
Wanted to
Setting up
kill,
the pre-edit
but-
like that, making the call to go for it. The timing was almost
All the
impeccable.
damage.
But all good. Rapid and Clix end up disengaging, kind of getting
Going
back
back to
the
Sanctuary.
drop. We'll see how this ends up playing out for them. Not sure if they actually even got any real damage there, so still they're gonna have an uphill battle to work against. Meanwhile, Diego, Kaki, disengaging from their fight as
Who
well.
who the hell is either one of those people?
I have no clue.
Can
See them in
randoms
the
just
minimap,
qual
it looks
into
like
it
a
if they
lot
was
of
Div 1?
attention over towards the Battle Woods, the
Um,
surrounding area.
they're in Div
We
1.
don't necessarily know. It's very, very early to see where the zone is beginning to pull. But typically, when a lot of the early game teams start to pull in one direction, you can see where they have their minds at. It's King and Cray. He's lurking around yet again,
Going
waiting
with a lurk.
for what looks like Wikipedia to try to make a mistake, refarm the tree. There goes King. Big shots being fired off, essentially dropping him down to just a sliver of HP already. Now Craze comes in to crash the party. They get their first elimination here. And this
For a
is where we're
second, I
seeing
thought
the
this
difference between them
Wikipedia guy
and
said
some of the other
Wreckful, and
teams
I'm
in the
like, what the
lobby,
hell
you
is an
know? They're
OCE
slowly
player
build their
doing on
surge bases. They
an
trade
AC?
for tags and they overstay their welcome in the zone. King
It's
and Craze
freezing
is
locked
looking
up,
like
right?
last
How?
chapter or last duo
And it
where
region
Peter Pot
lock?
and Poyo were just W King the
Yeah.
lobby to get their surge. That's what King and Craze are looking like right
The only
now.
way you could have done it
Yeah,
is if you
playing it
qualled
like a
on
pub game,
in
playing
a
it like
like
a cash cup, staying
while you
fluid
lived
on
in
the
anything.
move, looking for action.
That's
on
why
the
Money
go.
Maker came all the
And
way
it's
over
working
here
out
to
really
qual
well for
just
them,
for him
you
to
know.
miss it.
It plays in so well into their playstyle because
He's got to do last
again,
chance qualifier.
King was putting players down in set lobbies with even
What?
you know
What?
Circumstances. I mean, you send them on
What?
the run.
Why is the
all
bottom
a
of their
sudden now,
base
that
like
low
that?
advantage, right? Having the ambush at play, it's really hard to take them down.
To have a
essentially,
double
when you have
surge
that
base.
advantage.
Yo, Bernardo, chill out.
Especially with how quick he can maneuver
King,
around.
Zusto, one
See
second.
Zusto, Malcolm trying to go ahead and take advantage on one. Almost looks like you can see what happened. A reboot really gave away their position. A lot of noise and kind of gives up the thought of, hey, one of those guys are respawning in. Possibly only 3 builds, no real weaponry to fight against them, and that's where I feel like you see them chasing on over towards that solo.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that Marks wasn't building there. Zusta knows he's got a huge advantage. There it is. The Storm does the rest for him. Does just enough damage, but Malcolm, Zusto now. I feel like officially ran out of heals here for the time being. So Zusto's kind of holding the body there. He still has the siphon to come. Luckily, the duo ends up leaving the drop.
Rate Cooper.
He could have made that really bad for all of them, to be honest.
See how Wonky Land's playing out right now. Contested, uncontested. I feel like Reet and Cooper.
Wait, did
are kind
Reet
of
and Cooper
ready
have an
for
uncon
whatever
Wonky?
gets thrown their way. You know, they played a divisional cup and things didn't necessarily happen the way they wanted to at Wonky
Wait,
Land.
when
And
did
since that
Reet
day, I have
start
not
going
seen
wonky? I
anybody
forgot.
play as many off-spawn
he-
practice games
he,
as Reet and
he's
Cooper.
been going
Doesn't
there for
matter
like
who
3
the
weeks
competition
since they got the
is.
Batman
They just
thing.
want to make sure they get as many reps as
That's really
possible
a week and a
underneath their
half
belt.
since they
So
got the
their
Batman
team in today's lobby, I
Hey,
wouldn't
Gonzo and
necessarily
Josh
agree
Paul.
with contesting, but hey, sometimes you just got to play your game out. And you see him where the zone is pulling. Very,
not for
very
sure.
familiar to last game, Monster.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Just on the topic of Reed and Cooper, I mean, super fan of them both, just their personalities. I think they match each other really well, so I expect, again, Reed to continue to be that sleeper person who just performs really well. Right? And almost stays out of the conversation, sneaks into top 3s and 5s. Either way, though, Veno and Agers, the activity has continued to stay up. They already have 2 eliminations, mind you. So this is just icing on the cake at this
Regular
point.
blood and Fleur.
Yeah, game 1, Bucky was able to escape off the drop, survive a little bit longer to play that game out just a little bit. This time around, they're able to win that off-spawn fight convincingly. You can see Plur and Regular just not really backing down from this fight, and they were the ones that took the most of that damage early on. And now they have the high ground over a team like Veno and Agers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Veno and Agers kind of taking control of the tower, I was like, alright, that makes sense. But then to see him shockwave over, I was like,
oh, Reed has the mythic.
Hard to do that. Meanwhile, Reed and Cooper's kind of doing their thing on this side. Look at this, a fresh set of eliminations and so much loot to choose from. This is like a mega pickup. Unfortunately, it's outside the storm, so they're not gonna be able to do much with it.
Yeah, just kind of cap off what they're missing. Go right back on over to Wonky Land. The zone is relatively close to where they can use that combination of the Shockwave and the Wonky Wheel to cover distance quick. This is how they were able to pick up those eliminations. They went from actual POI Wonky Land, probably using that wheel, closing the difference towards the outskirts, and just taking advantage of a team who probably got caught off guard.
Wait, Wiki's
that's
down
how
again.
It goes sometimes. You can't let your guard down, especially when someone's got the ability to rotate like that. Meanwhile, Boji here still has chugs to work with, so you have some heals, but I'm gonna go with the med kit first for him. I like this play, trying to reserve the chugs, of course.
Especially when you gotta realize, you know, you just got off a fight, you got an elimination. Chances of being able to go back to Heatwave Harbor to visit that vending machine probably slim to none. Probably not worth the risk either, so they're just gonna keep it moving. With the elimination.
In this game, I haven't seen them that
Waste no
much.
time trying to get to the zone, coming in from the south side of the map, and that's where it could tend to be a little bit more stacked. The south
still
and the
alive,
eastern
aren't they?
edge, where most of the
Think so.
lobby will begin to come in from. But this is also a team, Skittle, Kyan, that you noticed in the last game, landing over towards the chop shop. There's not going to be a lot of teams that rotate around this area until later on in the game. They just have to be above the damage threshold until then.
Yeah, with no elims, hard
Look
to
at
tell
Reed.
where they stand for the
Cooper's
most part.
doing.
Take a look at this. Nice little rotate going on here for Cooper and Reed.
Ooh.
Shooting
I remember seeing this. So the trick to this is, right? So if you guys want to try to do this at home, you got to like pickaxe or use the rapid fire SMG to get that out of the mini game, right? And instead of pickaxing it, the reason why you use the rapid fire SMG because it deals the least amount of damage to the flotation device. It'll literally bring you across the map like you see Reed and Cooper do in probably less than a minute. And this is something that kind of blown up on social media within the last couple of days. So Reed and Cooper really putting all the community's theories to the test.
Yeah, I saw someone talking about it. They were like, wait a second, what is this? And it was just some random team, right, that discovered like a really cool tactic. And all of a sudden now, of course, it's getting adopted.
Yeah.
The
Don't look like WoW, bro. Yeah, bro. It's
Nice little
Fortnite,
fight for
bro.
them. Free med kit. Meanwhile, you have Kanata and Sphinx camping out in the building nearby. This could be very dangerous.
Kanata, get off there.
Not sure what their game plan is.
Man,
currently.
Kanata eat
It
the
just seems
damn
like it's a
apple.
Pit stop on the way as they have the
Need that 5 HP, bro. Eat the damn apple, bro.
Doesn't matter what they see here. Reed and Cooper probably crouched down. They know the risk any mending machine possesses, especially this late in the game where we move from 4th zone to 5th zone, but Kanata and Sphinx on the whole other side, not really trying to lock that one down. So Reed and Cooper are going to be able to kind of hold that position to themselves, but they got to be a bit quick here in this situation. It did go from a 1-tick zone to a 2-tick zone, and most of this lobby, as you've seen, they've spent it deep within the zone, so they got to hurry up before they start to go ahead and take that storm sickness warning.
Yeah, definitely. You see there, they find that extra chug. They take advantage of just trying to cap off to the best of their capabilities, but the 2-tick is just so brutal. Even when you're in the storm.
Wait, who's the other game?
Already it's going to cost them at
Reed and
least a
Cooper?
full med kit.
Yeah.
Now you have Kanata Sphinx under the same
I
problems.
thought Rita
Pocoyo
a fighter.
has the
I don't
duo
know.
right on their heels as well. Sphinx and Kanata gonna just base down here because they found themselves too
I assume
close to
it's
the other
Cooper.
team on a heal instead.
I would assume Creep would be bigger for
Not
how
necessarily the worst play,
mechanical he is.
especially, you know, experts, you know, you fight inside of the zone like this. Sometimes you end up in a no-win situation where even if you win the fight, making out is going to be near impossible. Just kind of continue to look around a lot of the action around the map. You can kind of see the solo clutch points from game number 1, how it's really impacting the leaderboard. Most of those teams landing in and around the top 5 after those solo clutch performances. And that's got to be a boost of confidence for all of the duos, specifically Rapid. Got to boost his confidence right now with Clix, knowing with or without him in the game, you know, his IGL prowess, even if he's eliminated, can still play a role in Clix solo clutching.
See how good of a job they do as well, being able to rotate and maintain that momentum, really optimizing each and every shockwave like that.
Those curve, like, dang,
Fine
connected.
there too, but look at this Higson curve.
Shadow.
Nice little elimination there. It's going to end them up with some points, and this is
It's
what
been
happened
stopped.
in the last rotate. And now look, the warning's going to tell Kanata he's actually 195
Hooper got him.
below. This is a very tough spot to be in after such a strong first game. Luckily for him, he does have that cushion, and he may not be out yet. Okay, as I was going to tee it out, I was like, it's not looking
That's
too
why you don't
good.
say anything, bro.
Leon's going to end up with the elimination and the refresh there. Well played for them.
Hopefully they can go ahead and kind of figure out what went wrong. Very, very similar zones from game 1 to game 2.
I haven't seen Peter this whole
Obviously,
match.
this one around here
basically.
in the 6th zone, we are moving a little bit more towards the south. Short celebration, though, for Higgs and Curve. They get that one elimination you were talking about immediately.
They just
become
got a kill.
target of the lobby, but only for a short second as they quickly start to rotate on out. I think they're learning, just like everybody else, you don't want to be one of the last teams to try to make it there. You don't want to be one of the first teams either, given an open opportunity to try to continue to connect with shots.
Yeah, too many teams got that little bit of natural elevation right there.
I don't see Clip.
They're
There's
going to be targeting
Peter
all the
Pollo.
fresh builds. Peterbot Pollo already on the move right here. Do the same thing like the other teams, just trying to keep themselves protected, but Pollo gets rolled up on. Peterbot's here to back him up in a quick turn of events right there for one
Whoa!
team. Make it for another as well.
Oh, Pete,
What
you
is
timed
happening?
that
This is
now.
like the spider's web.
He deleted
They're
Valorant
everyone
too.
coming through.
Speaking of Valorant, we
Just
probably need to start
another
playing
one
that
from
again.
behind. Yet again, they're just pouring in one after the next after the
You wanna
next.
what
And
I wanna
Peter's
play
just
with you?
taking them out,
What?
crossing them off the list. Big
Make a
shot being
command.
traded off for Senya, though, to slow down the roll that Peter
Logan said he'd
has
gift me
on.
the
And
game.
this is the thing I feel about this.
Well,
duo.
he has to
We're
send
always
you the
talking about
money.
how great Peterbot is. Obviously, since the
No,
Summit
on
land,
Steam, you
people
can literally
calling
buy the
Pollo
game
probably
for
one of the
someone
best
else.
players in NA as of
Can
now.
you?
I feel like they
Yep.
have like small competitions within one another to see who gets more eliminations, who has better solo clutches, and when does
Ooh!
right now it's just getting a little,
little
chaotic.
bitch
They know
slap
how
for
to
the
play
guy.
together as a team.
Yeah, that was so aggressive right there by Peterbot and Pollo.
When did Pollo get the
What
mythic
is this?
pistol?
Just trying to really punish the team behind them. That
That's
thought
the,
they were gonna be able to jump into the
other
box. And it cost
two
them a
mythic
fair
pistols.
bit of their remaining heals, but in the end, it alleviates the pressure from the duo. And they
That's
have
the
enough
pistol
mass
that
to
you
take
can
the
get
distance
from
here.
that dog
This
at
nice little fresh
Sinister
pickup,
or
trying to make
Battlewood.
it lead, but no one goes for it fast enough. There's a nice upgrade for them.
Why does Pollo have the
You
damn
hear
boots
all
on?
that noise, all that fighting going down underneath, and you're just kind of taking it step by step, assessing the situation. Shots come off on their layer, so they're going to backtrack in their steps. Reed and Cooper, though, all the way from Wonky Land, they're going to be the first team on the high ground. 7th zone, though, we've
Free
already
little
seen it in
refresh.
game 1. That could be a little bit early to try to invest everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pretty impressive for them to be the team right now to try to identify as the high ground
That's all
duo.
left
2
to
games in a row now,
Clix and
position
Rapid.
themselves up for hype. Here's King and Craze. A little bit less of an elimination tear.
Oh,
They're
it's
on
Peter
this
and Pollo
game, but
pull something
nonetheless,
crazy
they're
off.
one of the
Yeah, Peter Pollo in the
healthiest
corner.
here coming off of a fresh
They're almost front of zone.
refresh there. So
Almost.
very big material
Veno.
counts in their inventory. Meanwhile, Veno, Ager's looking very
There's
strong
Clix.
and healthy as well here. This time, not as desperate to be down in the low
Pollo
ground
just killed
lane for
somebody.
the mid layer. So we're probably going to be seeing a high ground fight here.
Always the refresh, probably.
Be careful. I feel like this lobby is stacked with teams that
Yeah.
have the potential to go for that high ground. Is King and Craze. It's going, looking towards the backside of zone. They have the
Pollo just
benefit
killed
of the
somebody
doubt.
again.
900
Frenzy.
above the damage threshold, but that's not a worry. They just have to wait for 3 players to go down. Pollo gets
Pollo,
another
let's go.
elimination, kind of easing up on that pressure. On one
Wait,
side, we
Clix
got
and Rapid.
Golden. On the other, we got Clix and
Oh,
Rapid. I knew
they're on
I
high.
didn't see Reet and Cooper no longer on the high
Wait,
ground. As
they're
Clix and
below.
Rapid are the team to overtake
By
them, but
37.
they're below the damage threshold.
Yeah, just
They
a couple
need to get
players
tagged
have to fall
fast.
here, and they realistically are the only team there. They just need a little bit of damage, but no one's revealing themselves. So much metal and just hugely fortified.
Okay, good job.
bases
Good job, Rapid.
around
Good
them.
job.
They can't afford to open fire. Here comes some fresh builds. Finally, they get some damage there.
They're keeping hot.
Cost them a fair
keep it
bit.
high.
Rapids really hurt on that rotate.
Okay.
After
Peter's
they
going for
go
high.
Pollo take the
Peter's got
opportunity
it.
to go for high ground. and
Holy.
now it's his playground to mess around
That
with.
was zinging.
They're doing what they need to do, elevating themselves
Reese
ever
got a
so
Reese
higher.
killed spear.
This is a perfect spot for them now.
It was
Just
Clix.
melted
Unless
Zen
you're Rapid.
flying through the sky. Pollo's the one that's going to get credit for
Herb.
that one. But like you said, kind
Weenie
of reinforcing
Warrior.
their position, building up higher so they can kind of hear the warning of those shockwaves if any team looks to contest them. King and Craze probably have no plans for that being a
Let Pollo
possibility.
just
They've
bitch slap
just
that
been
guy.
dominating this low ground. Even without eliminations, they're pushing team after team off of their layer.
Praise
making sure
above
they
Reet and
control
Cooper.
as much of the tempo as possible, even bypassing Reet and Cooper, building above them so they have the double edits in case they try to continue that path.
Yeah, I don't really see much in the way to stop King and Craze here. They've been playing
Where's
so
Ritual
well.
at?
You look at the rotates that they're putting out as
think
well.
they was in a
There's
different
no one
heat.
giving them any resistance, but meanwhile, Higgs and Curve are the team on the low ground. There's always one, and for now, it's them right here. They seem to be running things up right now. 4 eliminations, plenty to work with as well as far as heals are concerned. Here comes the shockwaves from the outskirts. Really nicely done, but targeted from Peter Pollo
Holy
up top.
Higgs.
That
Higgs is
mythic
moving.
AR just shreds the moment he catches contact.
Yeah, nobody can kind of reveal themselves for too long before they risk going down. Clix and Rapid. You can see the
Skittles
struggles
down.
that they're going through. Clix, not a lot of builds. They're trying to
Rapid.
find elimination. They did get a knock, but King and Craze finally have their plan settled out. They're looking up, trying to chop them down, but they've drawn
He's
the
got a kill.
attention of Peter Bot and Pollo. They know that's the second height team, the
Rapid's
threat
almost
that
dead.
they need to watch out for, but there's still Veno, Agers, Higgs, Curve. You see them lurking in the backside of the zone as well.
Yeah, King and Craze probably looking to set up the shockwaves. You see them crouched up, just again peeking through those cones.
Peter Bot killed
waiting
Clix.
for an opportunity. Anyone
Holy.
moving on the outsides, King's got that covered as well. They just seem to have their bases
Where's,
fully
where's
locked in
Rapid?
right now. There comes some pressure from a team up top, but again, not enough to make them have to worry. The distraction's on though. Rapid
Not a
now
kill
forced to put up a Clix-like performance here by himself.
What? Xanta killed Pollo.
Sinetto finding their activity
Holy.
here. That's actually onto Pollo. Okay, and now they end up with high ground. So we already
Sonato.
saw Pollo and Peterbot getting a little bit desperate. They were starting to run out of
Crazy
material,
people.
and it does start to come to light here.
Yeah, that was Peterbot. You're talking about somebody's dropping down. It was him from above trying to get
On
any of
Peter's
these
ult.
refreshes until he finally runs into King, and King cuts him short. 5th elimination for this
They
duo,
just need
but
top
even
15.
King gets cut short. What is today,
Where's
Monster? It
Rapid?
seems
Where's
like
Rapid?
solo clutch performance after solo clutch performance. Even
So
Veno
much stuff
having to
going on,
leave
I'm so
Agers behind.
confused.
He's healing
Like,
up. Veno's
King
building the
killed
path.
Rapid.
This might be one of the stronger duos we have left alive in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And Veno's just playing so well. He just takes down each of those eliminations.
King's
We're seeing
dead.
him continue to shine here, but look at this. Craze, although he lost King, is still playing it out by himself right now. He's at 7 eliminations. Veno, Ager still going. Afonso falls
a
here as
Veno
well.
win?
And now they're working their
For
way
chance.
down, going through the motions here. A little bit
Like,
of a refresh for
Veno
Veno.
or
It's gonna set them up
Higgs?
nice. Cooper and Reed, they're
Veno,
forced
Higgs,
to
and
go
Reed
down
Cooper's
to
still
the
in.
depths here, are forced to try to play this from the low
I have
ground.
no fight for that team up
See,
top.
For a second, I thought
different
he was going to go for the
what
reboot.
HP's like. Higgs, the only
Right,
solo
Higgs
left
a solo.
in this game
Go
right
for
now.
the reboot,
17
Higgs.
kills, but no chance to recover any HP outside of
Would you
elimination.
reboot me in
Veno,
that
Agers
situation?
push into a whole
Yeah,
other team.
you know I
Yes,
would.
the full box damage is there, but they're able to slither their
I would
way
like
on
to.
out the bottom of that box.
Just spawn up
Veno,
on top
Agers,
with a
though,
great pistol.
Just trying to go ahead and dominate this layer, pushing
Yep.
all these teams off.
least the
But right now,
pistol's
it's high
good.
ground that they have to worry about.
Yeah.
But high ground, we haven't quite seen what their material counts are looking for.
Scented.
They get double chopped there, sharing the builds. Veno goes up, taking full advantage, but so does Zepta. And
Oh,
Veno
wait.
with the monster
Veno got-
shot.
got-
Agers
he's gonna
with
win.
the backup as well. Each of
Wait.
them win their wins, but they get sent shocked out. He comes back,
Reed,
and they manage
Cooper.
to recover themselves there. We're about to
Is that
see a
Kanata?
2v2 with
No, that's a
Contrap in the
different whole
mix.
person.
It's just really telling where the Contrap goes up, gives an advantage to Reed and Cooper, but he's working his way on down, trying to take the fight against them themselves. Veno and Age are still up
this a Reed and
above.
Cooper
He's
win?
figuring out a way to kind of go underneath the
it's a
radar,
Veno
not be
win.
noticed up until now, but eventuality will happen. The zone will close, and that's where he has to try to make
Reed.
a move. That's where Reed shuts him down. Veno and Age
Veno
drop down
wins
from
it.
above. They trade eliminations back and forth. Ager's in a 1v1 against Cooper.
Wait,
and it's
holy
Reed
Cooper!
out of nowhere. That's still
I thought Ager's got it.
and advanced to the grand finals.
Contrap came through, was just a
Reed
distracting
Cooper.
factor. The Siphon keeps one alive while the other exchanges the shots. That's that little bit of unpredictability you never know that you're going to get with Fortnite there, Zeke, but what a game.
No big deal, MDF. No big deal. Just a global champion going ahead and say, hey, you know what? A major finals, I guess I'll go ahead and claim a spot going on over. Not a big deal. And of course, Kelly, I know you're excited because he's paired up with Reed, and that's your favorite player.
Listen, I don't want to be biased, except I do. Reed and Cooper coming out on top, waiting for the final moments to engage that fight. They probably knew
All right,
that
I'm gonna use the
Veno and
bathroom.
Agers were up on height, and so they waited. They were patient in that final moments, Vivid, and that's really where it came down to AJ versus Cooper. And listen, we all know Agers is an incredible fighter, but Cooper, the global champion, man, you know he's never done an out.
I mean, Cooper just kind of running around on the low ground. I like the catchphrase there, just keep on shooting, man. It looked like he had so many targets to keep hitting, right? Had to go ahead and hit the knockdown body, so that way he kind of got the Siphon to kind of join the mixer to help him out just a little bit. And then he turns around a little 180 to go ahead and close things out. But game two, man, a little bit crazy. This one went actually all the way the distance. We almost closed out the zone here, closed into the storm. And listen, over the course of the first two heats, man, these games were kind of ending early, but with two healthy duos left alive, they kind of pushed it all the way to the limits here. But it was a great battle between Veno and Agers and Cooper and Reed. But when everything was said and done, Cooper kind of turns around, hits the shot necessary, and you can kind of see those margins. He just had a sliver of HP to do it, but Cooper clutches up.
My gosh, man, if you had told me this was like if you just said, hey, Zeke, this is the finals lobby, I would 100% believe you, right? Like this, yeah, there's so many things that happen. Again, shout outs to Reed and Cooper. They have they've secured themselves rather a spot on the battle bus going to next weekend's finals. Bummer we won't get to see more of them today, but there's still 3 games to go. So many more teams could clutch up a VR. So for now, a break. When we return, we break down more of the leaderboard and prepare ourselves for the halfway point. See you in a moment.
Right.
I got here. I'm popping a med bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're med, wait. 100? 100? Oh my god, look! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Milk can help you grow. Milk can't prevent your ride from blasting into space.
Welcome back, Fort FM, to the FNCS. It's great to see you. If you just missed it, Game 2, Reed and Cooper got a victory royale, which means they're going straight through to finals next weekend. And in case you missed Game 1, Booga and Braids went over to them. A lot of crazy things happening here, but friends, we cannot forget that Reed Cooper 2v2 came down against none other than Benno and Agers. Could have gone either way, but man,
now
Benno and Agers getting
Cooper's
a
gone.
second place with 10 eliminations. Oh my
Where's Clix
gosh,
go?
this is what I like to see, Kelly. This is what I like to see.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, they have 2 games played
Yeah,
out of
Higgy's
5,
right
and
there.
They already have 137 points. Benno and Agers have been able to make it to the end game both times, and I just don't think that there is too much of a concern for how they have been performing. They have just been playing this so well.
Vito
on
just
the
keeps
low
on
and mid-ground, waiting for the perfect moment to go for height, and honestly, they've just been doing it so cleanly. Yes, it is unfortunate that they have not been able to get the win, but as far as Benno and Agers are looking right now, Vivid, I love to see this.
Whenever we take a look at teams and how well they're doing, one of my favorite things in
I think
Fortnite
this
is
match, Clix
recognizing
and
a team
Rapid
that
caught
can
it.
play several different play
Yeah,
styles.
Clix and
And
Rapid
so
are being
far,
out again.
in just the first 2 games, Agers and Benno have showcased that both times. I mean, they were kind of
I'll
playing
go
for the
all
higher
in, I'm
ground.
gonna
Game
say
number 1, they ended
Clix
up
and
giving up
Rapid
and
for
kind of
this
praying
one.
front low.
Peter
But
for
this
sure
time
is
around,
gonna
they were kind of
win at
playing
least one
mid-ground,
game
looking
of
for some
qual, I think.
refreshes, and once they got them,
Yeah, he's
then
definitely
they
qual.
decided to go ahead and overdrive up to high ground and kind of contest for it. A second
I wonder if he goes
place
for the
with
win or
10
throws so he can
eliminations.
play
It
all
was so
6.
close between them winning that 1v1 in the end,
25
between winning
games.
that game, but really like what I'm seeing out of Agers and Benno right now.
Dude, I'm also just looking
If they
at
get
this
150,
top
they're almost
5,
guaranteed
man, right?
qual.
Remember, BR means we
Yeah.
go straight through the finals. We're not going to be seeing the first 2 for the remainder of the day, but we've got to be ending the top 10 of consistency, which is basically the top 15. Okay, sorry, I always had to repeat that. Kingling and Craze, though, we've now had 2 pretty solid games. Also, kind of like what you're pointing out, Kelly, only after 2 games, breaking into the triple digits already.
Did Donnie qual?
I mean, Kelly, Kingling and Craze,
I think so.
looking good.
Yeah,
Check
as
his
far
Twitter.
as what we've seen from Heats 1 and 2, getting 2 really good games where you're kind of in the top 10, 1 kind of okay game, and then you could even have 2 kind of bad games is all you
Yeah, he
need
did.
because
Made a
top
video
15
about it.
out of 50 teams, although it sounds like not that difficult of a feat, it is still challenging when you consider how many big names are in Heat number 3 right now. But as far as Craze and Kingling, I am not too worried right now. Like
I
you
thought
said, they're
the
currently
chickens,
sitting
and
in
now I'm
second
very
place
tired.
as far as consistency, but the concern that I have for everyone right now, Vivid, is that you look at the names on that list. We got Kingling, Peterbot, Clix, Higgs, Creon, Kanata, and that's just page number 1, right? There is so many big names that have not solidified their spot into the grand finals. So even if you are making it to the end game every single time, all it takes is for just one random zone pull to go into the favor of your opponents, and then that is going to put you down the leaderboard.
Kingling is actually our individual eliminations leader right now. He has 12, but there is one other player who's actually joined him in double digits with 10 of their own. It's Peterbot, man. We know him. We love him.
Yeah.
He's always going to be picking up those eliminations. But like I said already, Kingling currently has the lead in just after 2 games. But it's so impressive that we already have a couple of players entering double digits.
So in
after
in-game is
just
Peter
2
Pollo
games. It's
IGLing
kind of cool
now.
because obviously we always look towards Peterbot and Pollo to kind of be that
Or
duo
do
that's
they
going
just
to pick up
both,
those
like,
eliminations. I think it was
both
in
do
game
it?
number 1 where a stat
I
flew
think
about
both.
the plans, and I think
I
it
think-
said that
I
there
think-
were
you-
4 games
I
with
think
Pollo-
in-game they go double
plus
frag.
eliminations in the play-in. So these guys are all about the eliminations. I will
See,
say,
Peter's the one that
unfortunately
drops
for
down
us
to
and unfortunately
frag.
for them,
What the hell is this
they haven't
pistol?
actually made it to the 10th,
I
11th,
mean this
12th
pistol.
zone in these first 2
That
games.
missing
It's a
pistol.
complete duo so
That's
far.
the one's head.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, but
Pollo
it's
has
just
gone
like
out
double
a
the
little bit
speed.
Early, so Peterbot has kind of been
Yeah.
left as a solo, which is why he probably is
It's like
picking up some of those
bursting.
individual eliminations. But they're still chilling. 3rd place in consistency.
It's interesting you
See-
point that out because
See them
Pollo only
Pollo-
got
Back to
Pollo only died
Summit,
because he
it's
got
actually
like
the other way
triple
around,
team.
right? There's a lot of solo clutches off the back of Pollo, but now
See,
we're
it's
seeing
usually
it off
Pollo
of
that stays on
Peterbot.
hot while
Kelly,
Peter goes
Viv,
down
I
and
mean,
frags.
is this just them playing
Yeah.
around? Is this just them being little silly little guys until finals?
But Peter is the
I don't know
IGL
about
though.
little guys, but I think that they're not necessarily playing to the full extent that we know Peterbot.
I don't like
Because
Zeke's
they're not
face.
necessarily worried.
It's like,
They
why's
have
got that
already
star on his head?
stated to Faxity that
He's
they are
had it
willing
for
to
the
lose a
past 2
season to
days.
gain a global championship.
Take that
Now,
shit
I don't
off.
necessarily
Good
think
boy.
that is going to be the
They look
concern
like
for
they
them
haven't been
anymore
sleeping
because
either.
Venom and Agers is no longer
And
landing
Vivid
where
can
they're
just like
landing.
stare into your
But
soul.
I do think that Peterbot and Pollo, unlike everyone else, has nothing to prove. They've already proven enough.
Yeah, he used to
You
play.
agree with that, Viv?
Vivid?
You agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Iran
he was
you know how
a
they play these games.
he's
They're
the
playing for
pro
Zenos,
that
they're playing for
retired.
fun. They want to play all 5 games.
Okay, I like that. Okay, game
Became an
3 is
announcer.
ready.
He's
This is
getting
about to
paid
be the
more.
halfway point. So some of these duos, they need to pick it up if they hope to make the finals next weekend. For now, casters, take it away.
You know, keeping that as a running thought, Jacob, I'm thinking Veno and Agers might be kind of happy Cooper just clutched up and played well because they get to continue to target Bucky.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one right there. And honestly, I even see a scenario that maybe we
Bucky
see
hate
Veno,
watch.
Agers, Peterbot, Pollo take each other on throughout the course of these games. Both of them have proven they do want high ground, but this leaderboard is stacked. Top 15 is looking hard to get. Let's go ahead with game 3.
Why's their background the castle from Monkey Land?
What a plot twist would that be now if Veno and Agers are like, hey, what's up, Peterbot? How's your tournament going? He still has quite the way to go to be completely safe. That, Jacob, would be pure cinema, as they like to say.
Who's Autumn? Autumn
No, I'm
2K.
thinking that's what I want to see here.
Yeah, I'd
I
definitely
saw
be
a
here for it.
TikTok of
Sometimes
his.
nothing to lose, play for entertainment. But just Jerem, vibe, 63 points so far. Not
Okay, just all-
necessarily where they probably would have hoped to go, but as it stands as of now, they're within reach of that bubble, if not inside of it, and that's pretty impressive. Go to say they're not only contested at Latte Landing, they have to worry about Kanata
He
and
just
Sphinx
recently
landing on
got
that
known
western
because he
side, that
killed
mountain split
Peter-
that could potentially third
Peter
party, if not directly, with
or
shots in the
something like
distance.
that.
Yeah, this drop's definitely slowed down a bit comparatively to the last few rounds. Getting to the drop though, Veno, Agers sticking it to their true and trusty situation. They're about another big end game away from being completely solidified into the finals, and they can do what they want from that point onwards.
Thanks
But
for the follow, lads.
just playing their game seems to be going
Oh,
very
they
well
follow
for them.
my,
They're clearly the strongest duo
Twitter.
in the lobby right now as far as their overall performance is concerned. And it's what we expected though, right? Like we knew this was going to be a tough heat, but we also knew players like Veno and Agers should fare well.
Yeah, and honestly, you kind of look at the other side of that
Titan
drop spot.
Malcolm,
They know
Zusto
Veno and
Xylo,
Agers don't necessarily have
Marks.
to do anything different. Bucky and Cam, however, have to figure out how they're going to make it deep into some of these games with the target on their back. Because we know Veno and Agers want uncontested. Even some of these split drops here, finding a little struggles to get all their loot. Everybody just kind of grabbing scraps, sharing mending machines to try to see what bit of action they can get out of this early game. Cluster Coast, just as contested as last, and kind of something that you said earlier on. You know, a couple of these drops seem to be slowing down versus the first 2 games that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think reality's setting in here, right? For the opponents, like you're starting to think, dude, we're 3 points, we're 6 points. Like what's going on? We can't keep playing this way. We
Jeff
need to
posted looking for
survive a little
Duro
bit
for
longer.
LCQ,
And that's why we're
getting
seeing stuff slow
coached
down.
by
On the other
Kanata.
side, you're having these inexperienced teams that have never maybe made a finals or have only been there a few times. They're at 50 points. They're kind of in the
Miro.
conversation. And they
Miro,
have to decide
Jeff.
to themselves, is it worth even fighting at this point? Like, we just need to keep making end games and we'll go to finals. So
How much money has
we
Jeff
have a
made?
very interesting dynamic taking place here as we're in the middle of game number 3.
See Sphinx looking on over towards Latte. Gonna be the easiest shot they have to get Surge in this early game. Dragon and Creon having this whole back mountain to themselves. 84 points, faring well, able to kind of get that mythic pistol in their inventory. The biggest thing that they lack right now, or at least just looking at Dragon's inventory and even now Creon's, they have 3 shockwaves.
earned
Typically,
$5,000
both of the
basically.
duos will carry 6 shockwaves each for a total of 12. They
Oh,
do
he's
have
using the
gold
Moon
to
Knight.
buy more shockwaves,
Knight
but they're just probably
pickaxe.
waiting to see what they can find.
Yeah, as much as I like the gliders, you know, they look cool and all that, they're just not as good as shockwaves, of course. Veno, Agers on the hunt
Wiki.
right now. It's not onto the Buckies and the Cams of the lobby. It's onto Wikipedia, who's also just outside the harbor playing his split drop, and to catch him off by himself. This is just practice.
get
it
the
looks like,
game.
honestly, for finals here. The options to do what they need to do at their drop and then crank their way
Oh.
outwards. Meanwhile, you see that duo in the distance.
Did I get the
there,
game?
hearing what's going on, hesitant to even go that way at the moment.
What are you talking about?
You would see
Fuck.
Bucky and Cam in the distance.
mythic
Talked about
pump.
changes up right now. They're leaving Heatwave Harbor early.
I don't know.
Clicks in rapid. they're able to find that first elimination. And one of the biggest things, you know, at one point or another, we're talking about Peterbot, Poyo contesting Veno and Agers. It was actually Peterbot
Why are they
and
not
Poyo
landing
contesting
directly on
Clix and
Sanctuary?
Rapid at the Shaken Sanctuary. It was
They do,
because
they
the
just,
cube
like,
moved,
go out
or at
and
least the
get
movable
damage and
cube, where you can
kills.
kind of launch yourself off of it from Sinister Strip to the Sanctuary. Clix and Rapid had the idea in their head. Peterbot and Poyo are going to switch the drop. We just have to weather the storm until then. And now they're not only taking that drop, but that's what they're using to fly around and get some of these early games eliminations.
Yeah, the power of being able to land anywhere you want really keeps you super dynamic. It's more of a problem for everyone else. Vibes and G's, look at this lurk spot. It's not even well hidden. He's behind some small table here, but gotta appreciate the effort. He jumps off with the shockwave, stays there a little too long. His teammate doesn't come to back him up, and they just make the call to jump on him. Kind of like this play right here. I think this works out really well for them. Teammate is here though, so now we're looking at more of an old-fashioned 2v2.
A little bit of advantage though going on over to Minty and Autumn. Jerem just seems to be weak beyond belief. No shield, just HP, and they finally go ahead and get the drop on him. Vibes is there by himself.
We finally got
and
points.
She's not going to be by himself for long. Both of them get sent back to the lobby together. And interesting thing, Kanata and Sphinx, they just kind of watching it all play out on the mountain. I'm not sure how much surge they got in this game, but that could be one of the downfalls, missing out on an opportunity there.
Bookie down.
Impressive job there.
Autumn has
quality right camera peaks and really just a textbook
$800
way
earned.
to turn that fight around. That was when they shouldn't have won either, given that they had the health disadvantage there. But neither here nor there. They'll have to live and learn. Peterbot Poyo still has all the time in the world, taking their time here. Normally Peterbot's kind of on the outskirts by now, looking around for a fight to jump on. So a little bit of a different strategy at play. I wonder if the zone is kind of playing into that. We'll have to download that information here in a bit, but jump into the high ground where Golden and Ozone are situated. This is your very standard surge
Higgs ain't
base, and
streaming.
according to the map, we don't
Not
see
for
much
sure, I'm not
action
watching.
nearby, so pretty slow game for them.
Carver is, because he has to.
Yeah, still relatively early. Nobody kind of rotating on out from their drops or their splits just yet. They can go ahead and look towards the north. You'd probably see the same thing for Kanata and Sphinx, just trying to take advantage of the early game zone. Just like you want to accumulate damage for Storm Surge, you don't want to take damage either. So that's why you see some of the teams with power positions early on just kind of bunker down, park it, and just wait for opportunities to come their way. Meanwhile, Peterbot and Poyo, you said typically you do see them on the outskirts, and right now we're seeing them on the outskirts. They just gotta wait for any
Look what I sent
opportunity
you.
they feel like they can take advantage
On
of.
Snap.
An isolated team,
On
bridge
H.
and natural terrain covering them from the distance.
Let's
Peterbot's
check it out.
just
fighting
one,
right now.
two different covers there to try to push the fight.
Yeah, I'm looking at it like, how did you even get that wall, son? Like, that was crazy. And then for him to know that he took the two walls, just impressive all around. You know, my brain can't even keep up. I feel like I'm on a ping delay right now. Like, what's going on? That was insane. But all good. Peterbot Poyo have full control of the fight here. It's very standard for them to play separate angles, each of which are so fast and deadly on their own.
Yeah.
Normally this fight would have ended already, so Cash putting up a great defense here as they scramble around and barely slip out. But look at how much of these walls are in control of Peterbot and Poyo. Here they come. Just trying to reset. Peterbot making sure there's no one above them.
Ooh, I was about to say, you got to be careful for a fight like this for Peterbot and Poyo. It is taking quite
definitely.
a long time, and even though they're landing shots, they're also taking an immense amount of damage. Poyo right there, probably over 200 damage being dealt to Peterbot and Poyo, and that's why they're consistently trying to give it back. Great damage there from Poyo. Even without the elimination, you can kind of see what they're fighting for. We both know Storm Surge is like currency. It allows you to travel through the map with a little bit less stress and desperation throughout the course of the game. But Peterbot gets tagged up yet again. They are doing such a good fight on the side of Spear and Cash to slow down the roll of Peterbot and Poyo. Something I definitely didn't expect after
King
the two
just
hot
killed
streak
Agers.
games that we've seen.
Yeah, I think Peterbot was a little bit frustrated there that he didn't get the initial elimination when Cash slipped out the box.
But I even
Just
learned.
noticed that he was second guessing himself time and time again, thinking, no, this guy's above me. Like, I
Kingling
saw
Agers.
him there, but he had already jumped to the lower layers. So definitely a little bit of frustration setting into Peterbot's play there. You give them enough time, though, they're going to figure it out.
People wondering why King and Craze, seeing what's going down there in the feed. I did see it. Sure if it was King or Craze, but I do know they did get that knock and elimination onto Agers. Probably looking for Venom. He's going to be able to disengage his Cash. And Spear still doing a good job of holding their ground, but you know, for both of the teams in this position, Peterbot and Poyo and included, you know, look at the resource count. Look at the amount of heals. They've drained so much here in this game, and right now, Peterbot puts himself in another peculiar situation. Lands a haymaker onto Spear, but he gets dropped down to 30 HP or so.
Yeah, you know, at first I was thinking, yeah, they've done enough to still have a damage lead, but now I'm convinced they're actually way behind.
Then Poyo instantly starts putting pressure on the guy so he can heal.
They've exhausted half of their material count, most of which is the heavy mats, and the team that they're fighting has used everything. So now it's not even going to be worth it as far as their refresh is concerned.
Someone's feeling, you know, that sunken cost fallacy or the lost cause fallacy where they've just invested so much into this fight already. In their head, it's almost pointless to disengage at this time. But they do see that the Sinister Strip's still there. The machine is there, but Peterbot goes down again, just biting off more than he can chew in some of these situations. That's got to be a confidence boost for Spear and Cash if they finally realized who they're going up against. But surviving the fight is not enough. They have to go ahead and find that second eliminations, but it's going to be a little too late. Poyo is going to disengage now, and they just got a huge upgrade due to the loot that Peterbot dropped.
Yeah, Poyo going straight for the reboot right away. You know, I was just thinking, like, they also secured all the loot there, right? So getting that material count and then getting the Warforged AR, that is excellent. And you know what? For a team that's in, like, the 50 point range right inside the top 15, that might have been the highlight of their weekend. If they can take this game, turn it into a few points, they might just go to finals based off of that fight alone. Kingaling and Craze, though, the second time
just a one-pumped him.
Agers and Veno this time,
Kingaling
and Craze are here to finish the job, and they get
he's about to be clipped.
One of the two. I don't know if they got Veno, but I'm assuming Veno got up out of there.
Just an insane shot to take him down 180 while he was full boxed. Just impressive gameplay all around. You can see that the only team in the lobby who qualified for all 4 Divisional Cup finals together. It goes to show that, hey, they may have broken up for just a second when they reformed, but sometimes being reunited has never felt so good. 89 points, still behind the curve against some of the other superstars here in this lobby, but they just have like a slower game than most. They don't go for early game eliminations, especially if the zone kind of pulls far away. They use their height advantage over at Lifty Lob, plus that launch pad to close the distance when they have to.
It's kind of interesting because you think of the personalities of the two. Curve very much reserved, Higgs super outgoing. I almost think they might have found their balance in one another, and I think it's interesting that they're kind of taking the playstyle with the slower approach and saving that big burst of energy.
Where's that mythic from?
A lot. We'll see how they continue to perform here.
Oh.
Mondo realize one of the teams again that's in the bubble at the moment here. Yeah, we can start painting that consistency picture because again, it's a very short evening. Only 5 games, and we're in the middle of game 3. So very soon we're going to be
he was
the
retired.
final stretch for these players to try to get their consistency points to go to the finals. Dignitas, Kanata, Sphinx on the other side, making a move right now deep into the storm here as they continue to rotate around. What's interesting is they did this last game. They decided to go deeper into the storm around this time to wrap around, and it did not work out for them. I was going to say, they got targeted when they got into the zone. This time they're getting spotted early again as well.
Yeah, and they have the benefit, though. I will say, as long as they have the gold and the med kits, you see how the zone at the north side of the map is kind of full. It is going to open up in that direction. So you got to think the probability of a lot of teams already stacked up there has to be low. And if that is going to be their course of action here, it might work out for them. We might see them later on in this game as well. Just like
the damage so
Bucky
they
and
can
Cam
get the
choosing to change things up. Instead of getting aggressive and willing to fight against Veno and Agers, they disengaged out of that POI early. They got their loot and hoping to play the rest of this game out. But now they find themselves with similar struggles below the damage threshold. And this is the first time they're facing these struggles today.
I mean, but it's also the first time we see them at least making it to the mid game, right? So this is a huge step of improvement. Now, they will have to find their damage. Options looking pretty okay for what it's worth, but any fight that happens down here, there's too many high ground team positions kind of all around them, so the focus is going to be real.
You can kind of see they're taking a little bit of a risk here. They're not necessarily together, but they're just trying to cover a good amount of distance, give them more opportunities to connect with shots. You see Alfonso in the distance trying to come in. I'm not sure Cam was able to get any damage, but that's definitely going to be a positive. But we see him return from the grave. Peterbot back up. Pollo getting elimination as well. And that's very, very important because losing that fight, Peterbot going down, how long it actually took,
Reno has a
leaves
mythic
question marks
AOR.
about their surge, and that's definitely going to help them tenfold.
Not
He's
only
had- he's had that every game.
all that material count went straight to Peterbot, and he was not capped on anything. So he absolutely needed that elimination.
Like, no one got the game.
Kind of looking pinpoint
I'm
small
confused.
moments throughout the game that can kind of change the course, the trajectory of what teams are going through. That one is definitely one for sure for Peterbot.
Because it's a
Agers and
guaranteed
Venno, we
gold
kinda
or
saw
mythic
that
punt.
replay of getting dropped by King and Craze. They're going to be back
Maybe
up in
someone
this game
did,
here.
maybe Bino got it.
143 points, 2
Brought it
eliminations,
back.
Well,
and
he has
above
a
the
purple.
damage threshold. The only thing that I have to really worry about is the resources. Couple of empty item slots for Agers, lack of
Unless that team that
mobility. You
killed
see Venno
Agers
poking the bear
got
up
it.
above, taking some shots again. That's King and Craze, the initial players that
might have been it.
separated this duo the first time.
I like
Yeah,
that
they're
little
looking at him right
rematch
now,
play
too.
Here. I saw in the feed though, Peterbot Pollo landing on Cam, so that little split opportunity, little split pay they were doing,
Echo.
basically played against them. We get to watch the highlight here shortly, so take a look at this. From outside the storm, Cam might have been poking the bear, like you said, the wrong team this time around. Peterbot Pollo recognize that he's in a solo tower. They take him out right away.
Matrix
Those
Cam
are the
Slam,
key
is that?
refreshes they need. Those are, you know, again, the big damage swings.
Who is
It's
that?
going to put them right back into running here.
Where's Clix and Rapid?
Especially if they keep finding these opportunities.
Ozone falls.
Ozone, yup.
Pollo killed
eliminated
Ozone.
as well. 123. Well above the damage threshold.
Clix and
Even though
Rapid still
22 players
alive?
need to go ahead
I
and go
think so.
down before Storm Surge no
Well,
longer
it's
active
in the
in this
lane.
game. They're putting themselves and
Peter's
climbing
gonna
up
fall
that
just
Storm
for-
Surge
just
ladder
for,
where they don't have
fighting-
to look down
fighting
or
kill
even
points.
worry about it. But they do get a max pull. That's going to leave them open to taking damage. But they are still pouring it out. Preston and Naves are not even sure what's hitting them right now.
Okay, really tough games for Golden and Ozone, by the way. They were only in the 30-point range coming into this one, and then for them to fall this late into the Game 3 development right after getting a refresh is going to really set them back. So Peterbot and Pollo have now taken out some really important teams, and they are finding, again, refresh after refresh, and they're just taking this momentum right into the end game now. And this is not what you want to see. You know, we went from calling Peterbot possibly frustrated in the last
Clix alive.
engagement, and all this confidence, right, surging right back in.
I'm watching him.
Even there in the feed, boy,
Hey,
okay,
Clix
that's
has
another
used
knock on his
that
bars. He clicks
shotgun
and
the
rapid, though.
entire
They know
time.
how chaotic and destructive the low ground can get, and that's why I can see them kind of elevating themselves early. They don't want to spend too much material trying to claim the high ground of themselves unless they have to. Seeing
Maybe
what the
Fraggers
zone
like
pulls,
it.
it is favoring their direction, so this is going to give them a chance to look back.
That's
But
the
a
only
whole
one
other
I've seen
player
use it.
flying through
Was
the
that a-
sky,
was that a
landing big
flyby
shot onto click,
shot,
making him
Peter?
second guess from 500 above the damage
Maybe.
threshold at 289.
We've seen plays like that take players out. You never really know, so that was a scary one for sure. Meanwhile, if you saw there, Peterbot finds Contrap on the rotate as well. They find Darcy here from Pollo's perspective. They are just turning up right now. This is looking like it could turn into one of those monster games as far as Elam's concerned.
Especially since you can kind of see after those eliminations, they're pretty stacked up on loot. They're stacked up on materials. They can be one of the teams to take it early and try to hold on to it as long as possible. See if that time comes. But for Venno and Agers, only 3 teams, or should say players, need to go down. Storm Surge will deactivate. But for now, 44 above, that's where they're going to feel a little bit confident. Looking at the distance,
Peter just
seeing
killed
some
another
fresh
person.
builds. They're going to lurk around here and try to go ahead and push forward, but instantly does get blocked off. They're just going to go ahead and wait for the zone to push forward before they make their move on out.
Yeah, I see Curve and Higgs on the other side.
He's
Amplifies.
using 2 SMGs.
Tsunami and Loris here. Pretty tough spot to be in right now. Shots coming in from other opponents as well. They're going to have to ditch the base here and get the rotate going. And things from the wide view. King and Craze continuing to fire off shots here. Another refresh for them now. This is going to get them right back into the running. Who's looking a bit desperate.
I
But
think King
again,
going
the
heavy because
firepower
it's
from
code
King
shotgun.
and Craze is so telling here. Looking at Clix and Rapid right now, positioned up for second
Oh,
high.
I'm
Peterbot
about to go grab
Pollo,
my phone.
8 eliminations and counting. They're
Well,
just taking
come
out
on, Peter,
anyone who's anyone in their way. They just have not stopped.
And you kind of seeing Land's Head in both of their inventories. They got the Mythic Pistol. If this team gets high ground or gets a position on the low ground, I'm definitely going to be scared for some of these teams. As Benno and Ager try to go for a sneaky play, but they get found out at the last second, denied that first opportunity, but they turn phase. They turn around, try to get another one, but both of those get stolen away. Peterbot and Poyo find 2 more, and it's the reason
Peter
why they're
dead.
going to get dropped
Oh, yeah, I
down.
didn't see
Peterbot will fall, and Poyo's now
dead.
left by himself for only a couple
Holy.
of seconds before Craze finishes the job.
That was kind of wild because they actually closed the point gap as
Like,
well. They
Higgs
were
on high.
so high up, but now you have Benno Agers really
Why are
starting
they
to
saying his
gap
name
the
like that? It
competition
ain't
as far
Benno,
as
it's
overall
Zeno.
points are concerned. Meanwhile, you still have Higgs on
We're
high
just
ground right
saying
now.
both
I
ways.
didn't really see his teammates, so we're gonna have to assess the situation up top. But Agers and Benno are playing some strong Fortnite right now. And even though they don't have a lot of material count, they
Higgs
are
and Curve on
putting
high.
up the numbers right here in the low ground.
Controller play
Higgs
on
and
height's
Curve are
always
both
deadly.
alive. Barely any match though.
I think Benno and Agers are kind of playing more
Benno's
towards
down,
the
Benno's
format.
down.
They know with a Victory Royale punching the ticket to the Grand Finals, they're maybe trying to stay away from the chaos of team after team, trying to send it towards the high ground, but Benno's going to get dropped. Agers going to get left by himself. I'm not too worried. We know what
Craze.
Agers is capable of, but Craze is going to go down again and again. We're seeing
Oh,
multiple games here where
Clix
some
and
of the
Rapid.
top teams being
It's gonna
left
come
behind
down
with
to Clix and
solos.
Rapid,
Luckily
Higgs, and
for Clix,
Curve.
he finds that elimination.
Yeah.
Third one of the game from a solo clutch in game 1 to dominate
Amplify
here in
and
game 3.
Cyclops
This
is
is
down.
really nice. The first time we're seeing them both
Mag.
enter the top 10 together as well.
King.
Look at the synergy here. Double
King.
They
King.
are about to take high.
Meanwhile, Kingaling
Clix
has
is about
not
to go for
stopped
high.
finding eliminations. He's our Elim leader, and for good reason. Here comes Clix.
Yep.
Rapid versus Higgs and Curve for the high ground.
Ooh.
Rapid's
Curve.
going to find the 2, finish things up. Clix gets his as well, and just
Higgs.
like that, Clix and Rapid are on the high
Oh,
ground.
wait.
King finally falls.
Did
to the
Clix
hands of
kill
Lawrence.
Higgs?
Yeah, 2 potential teams.
Or a
Rapid
Rapid 1v2'd him?
Clix and Rapid
Yep.
are going to be the last one stalling at the high ground.
They
Agers
just
is
still
trying
alive.
to heal up whatever he can, taking it step by step, knowing he's running out of build, so eventually it's going to get hard for
Get
him.
it.
Better than it actually is.
did.
QTE taking the elimination
Agers.
onto Skittles. A
Agers.
lot of our solos being
Agers dead.
tossed and turned outside of
Rapid.
the top 5 here, Monster.
Clix.
Most of the placement points have already been granted, but now
Come
we're
on.
into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
I
this
called
game's
it.
over. You got
Prove
Clix
me
on the
right.
ground for an elimination. Still has a couple shockwaves as well. Off he goes. Rapid playing the edit course here just because he had so
Holy.
much material.
Rapid's
to
getting
do
pacey.
so.
Don't you throw this game!
V2 right here. There's still another opponent there. He's gonna.
Oh! Oh!
11.
Let's go, Clix!
And new team.
Let's
go, Clix!
A whole another level of confidence being
I said-
able to
I
play
put
with
it all
someone
in.
like Rapid, who is
Clix
having
wins
a
this match.
phenomenal
How much did you
start
put? Did
to
you
the
put it
year.
all
We're
on
gonna see him at EWC,
Aussie?
And now we're gonna see him in the
No, I didn't
FNCS
put
Grand
anything on
Finals.
anything. I just told you that I guarantee they win this
Yo,
match.
Clix
Come on, Clix!
right now, Clix. Okay. Dude, this is the confident Clix. This is the confident Clix that I miss seeing. This is the Clix that would go out, do crazy things. I'm sure he's probably yelling, bang, going crazy right now.
He ain't saying no bang. He's saying other crap.
You know, the city that shall not be named, but he is still Clix. And paired up with Rapid, Kelly, this is what we kind of talked about at the start of the show, right? There's kind of a confidence back on Clix. And look, we come out and we go ahead and win. Okay.
100% Clix and Rapid. They've been having that snowball. They started off a little slow as soon as they formed, but it's been building up time and time that we've seen them. Whether that's been the Div Cups or during these scrims that we've been having over the last few weeks, they've been really building up this momentum. And this is the game that they finally get to solidify and show everyone that Clix and Rapid are here to stay. They're here to go to the global championships because my gosh, what an incredible
I
run
called that
to
from
see
the
them do
get-go.
this low ground run and then steal height at the perfect moment. We know how much Clix like to steal height a little early many seasons ago, right, Vivid? So to see him
Holy
wait
Clix
patiently
moving
for
the
this
whole game.
perfect moment to take it is exactly what I want to see out of them.
It's gonna be a little bit of a throwback, but this kind of reminds me of the duo of Clix and Miro of a long time ago, when they would kind of find these eliminations, and after they would kind of pick them up, then they would go for the high ground. And this is kind of exactly kind of the step-by-step process that we just saw from Clix and Rapid right here. But also, they kind of pulled a little bit of a play out of what feels like last season's playbook, where, yeah, we would see these overdrive grenades kind of be used from the backside of the storm, but what kind of facilitated those plays was actually the Flowberry Mist effect kind of helping out with those overdrive grenades, but obviously that's not in this season anymore, so that's kind of faded away. But they opt to go ahead and pull it out anyway, kind of completely catch Curve and Higgs off guard, and it worked out perfectly. They're gonna be taking home.
Look what I just sent to Fortnite comp.
Now,
The
next
gift.
step, the finals. Again, this is a clix with confidence, and we hope it stays that way, right? Of course, we'll be talking about them in next weekend's finals, but for now, a quick break. We're at the halfway point. 2 games left to go. After a short break, we'll take a look at the standings. See you in just a bit.
Take more games left. Who think wins this match?
What do you think of that GIF I sent?
Tough fan.
I don't know why he was doing that, but now I have the GIF.
Now it's your turn to give one from the get-go. Who you think wins this one directly?
Now that clicks is Peter!
You saying Peter?
Yeah.
So he wins this next match.
Yep.
Let's see if you become right.
I got here. I'm popping in med bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're med, wait. 100? 100? Oh my god, look! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Be right back.
Milk can help you grow. Milk can't prevent your ride from blasting into space.
Welcome back to the FNCS Fortnite fan. Great to see all of you. We are now at the halfway point of the competition. 2
Right,
games
or low IQ.
left to go. Game 3 goes the way of Clix and Rapid, so they're good. The next time we'll be seeing them is in next weekend's finals. Now that we, of course, are at the
Let's go,
halfway point, I want
Clix!
to take a moment here to check
Oh
out
my
some
gosh.
stats. Let's check out the players in focus, powered by Milk. Let's take a look at some of these stat breakdowns of just the first 3 games. Of course, Kelly. Peterbot would have 2 of them.
Yeah, of course it's going to be damage dealt. And then solo clutch points. Peterbot, you know, it's not just that he has to prove to the rest of the lobby that his team's better. He also has to prove against Poyo that he is the better solo clutcher. But a Kingling up on top with 17 eliminations. You do love to see that.
Yep, without a doubt. I mean, it's incredible to see kind of Kingling towards the top of it as well. But listen, I mean, Peterbot on the back foot of him doing
Powered
so
by
much
Milk?
solo clutch points, doing so much damage dealt as well. I mean, these guys are still hanging around towards the top of the leaderboard. This game was probably their worst one yet. I mean, 17th placed, but it's always the eliminations for these guys. Somehow, some way, they go down in 17th place, and I wasn't actually even aware of this when we were watching the game live. They had 10 eliminations this game, and they went down in 17th place. So the W
Are
key
you
was
back?
being held down for sure. Kind of the strategy is starting to come into fruition here for the duo. I mentioned it going into game number 3. I was like, listen, the game plan is going to be clear for these guys. They want to play all 5 games, but in every single one, they're going to play for the elims, and apparently they did just that in game number 3.
And I feel like we see this every single heat out of Peterbot and Pollo. They're not here to go for the win. No, they're here to let everyone know, hey, we're here. We can control the lobby. That doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to be going for height every game. No, if they want to go for lid, if low, if they want to go for mid, whatever they want, whatever practice that they want to get out of this, I think we will be seeing out of Peterbot and Pollo. And out of the points that they have already garnered themselves out of these games, I don't think that they really need to worry about showing up for the final 2. I think that they can kind of just keep doing what they're doing. I'm not saying that if Peterbot and Pollo decided this game, hey, we're gonna go win now, then they're gonna win. But I'm also not saying that.
not saying that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, I'm sure players in the lobby thought like, oh, dude, Peterbot and Pollo, we got him. And then, yeah, like Vivid said, you kind of go in, you're like, where were they at? Oh, 17th place, 10 eliminations, huh? They still pulled off the unthinkable, even in 17th place in that last game. Let's take a look at the standings, though. Where are we at, rather, currently? Again, if you're just tuning in, don't worry about those
Peters in
those
6th.
1,000 placements. That just means they got a victory royale. They're good. So right now, Agers and Benno currently in that number 1 spot. You know, Kelly, their stats are looking so good, so incredibly consistent as well. An 8th place, 2nd place, 6th place, 5, 10, 5 eliminations. I'm really looking forward to see them and how they translate this to the finals lobby.
I think Vino and
Listen,
Angels
the
bring this one.
story, and I'm all about the story, that we have been building up all season is that
What is it?
has been the Vino versus
So I think
Peterbot.
Vino
Now,
and
obviously,
Angels bring
Vino
this
left
one.
the drop
Yeah.
spot, and that has to give the point to
No, you
Peterbot
said
in the overall
Peter.
story.
Yeah, no, take that.
Peter,
Vino
Peter,
is
Vino, bro.
currently above Peterbot in
Man,
points
no,
on
that
the
you gotta pick
leaderboard. I
one.
would have to say,
Like I did.
doesn't that overall put Vino and Agers
Yeah, he said.
as you know, the
Yeah,
competitive
Lies. This is
powers
this is
that we're
just
looking at
Fortnite
right now?
recap right now.
That's not just above them.
Game
They
4
are
is about to
30
start.
Points ahead of Peterbot and Pollo right now, Vivid. I would have to give the edge to them.
Pick one.
Yeah, without a doubt, I mean, Agers and Benno are
Peter.
looking very, very good. I kind of mentioned it after the last
I'll
game, but
pick
the one thing
Vino.
that I was liking so far
And
this
let-
season out of
the
Agers
versus
and
that.
I
Benno
don't know.
was that
King
their
is right
ability to
now
play
like
multiple
really
different play
moving.
styles. Now, after game number
I don't
3,
know,
Agers
I
did
got
pick up a
clix
couple of
right.
solo clutch points there. But another thing that I've liked so far about the duo is that they're very committal in the sense that they're usually alive as a duo or they're down as a duo. It's either one. So they're kind of like all in as a duo. They don't necessarily rely on some of those solo clutch points that we've seen from some of our other teams.
I
here
think like
today.
Clix
And,
is just
I really
moving.
favor that, especially when it gets down to the grand finals.
Interesting. I mean, they also have to translate that to finals, right? Because they're going to be put in situations where one of them is going to be a solo, probably. So, curious to kind of see how that pans out. Wanted to tip my hat here to Higgs and Curve, 132 points. They've only kind of had their first game was like the roughest game, right? A 16th place with 2 eliminations. It's a little rough, not that crazy, but if we're kind of looking at qualifying, they're at the 132 mark. Kelly, with 2 more games, I got to think they'll break over, like, you know, yesterday was like 160-ish points, right? So we just got to make sure we're above that line, and then we can kind of take this through the finals.
I mean, the fact that we've already seen them being able to take height around zone 8, zone 9, and then control it all the way till 10 until Curve went down right there. It was a very fast transition. As far as teams controlling height, one of the biggest proponents to a successful high ground team, I think, is actually when to be able to let go and survive potential height steal. So obviously, Higgs and Curve for that situation didn't go the way that they wanted, but they are still able to control high ground for even just a few moments, is definitely going to give them advantage over the rest of the lobby. And currently sitting in 8th place, we are already reached the halfway point of the game. This is a good place to be.
I think it's important for us to go ahead and quickly note here the eliminations column, because we did see that King
Spinks,
King went
11th.
crazy at 24.
Zen.
Peterbot and Pollo also have 24, so a little bit of a tie here. As we do kind
Skittles,
of take a look
14th.
at that bubble. 24, so a little bit of a tie here. As we do kind of take a look at that bubble very, very quickly. Usually when we finish up the day, it's top 15 to go ahead and secure that in consistency as well. That's currently sitting around 70 points, was a little bit lower than I would have initially anticipated, but you can see it in 18th place right there. We just saw a team go up 30 placements. Absolutely crazy. Kind of shout out to Amplify there. Hopefully they can keep this ball rolling and potentially qualify through consistency with just one more game.
You gotta hope, right? You gotta hope. Listen, this is Heat 3. This is gonna be one of the last chances to try and make it through the next weekend's finals. You don't want to go to the LCQ, right? You want to try and qualify right here, right now. 2 games left to try and make something happen. For now, casters, take it away.
You know, they hit the nail on the head with only 2 games left. This is where you start to think, does it turn into desperation mode? If you're one of those teams at the lower side of the leaderboard, you unite, start to think about that victory royale here instead of saving it for the last game.
Yeah, you kind of have to, you know, we've seen it time and time again already. I want to say the big names are performing right about how we expected. For everyone else now, they're going to have to pull the rabbit out the hat, right? We're going to have to see the magic tricks come out here because they are running out of time.
Yeah, and hopefully some of those teams, you know, you're on the bubble, you're on the line. Mistakes do happen. It's just about how you handle the pressure. Game 4 is here, so let's just jump right into it.
Does that guy have a speech impediment? Why does he speak like
All right,
that?
let's kick things off, Jacob. We've seen a lot
The
of action
Arabian
throughout
guy.
the weekend here so far. The big boys clawing their way through. Clix and Rapid, man. Talk about a performance.
Jacob
of the
at
weekend for
PR.
them. You know, really
I have no clue.
excellent job by them. But other teams that are already sort of punched their ticket through. Agers, Veno, Peterbot, Boyo, Kingling, Craze. They have so many points already massed up. You have to assume they're at the upper echelon of teams that don't have to worry now.
Do they have an
They can
uncon
start to do
latte
things
now?
like manipulate the rest of the lobby and really look to influence what the finals lobby is going to look like.
Yeah, it's something that we see every single one of
get a
these heat
place.
stages, but we saw a moment ago, Latte landing, one less team actually landing there. So with 3 POIs up for
2
grabs, with
teams
3
is
of those
going for
teams
that
already in the
stupid
grand
death.
finals, things are going to continue to change up. But one fight that will remain the same
On
is
on
Deja
console
and
like
Zeely
solo,
winning the off-spawn fight.
on
Only with 21
Brazil, I've
points so
seen 10
far.
people
So
going
they
there.
have 2 thoughts in mind here. You play the game out
I
as
was
usual,
also
get as
going
many
there.
points, so you have 2 win conditions in
But
game
you
5,
win?
or
No,
you
I
just
turned
fire away
around
2
and I went to
different
the
games, go for
pink
victory
little
royale,
house.
so that way
I
you
went
have less to
over
worry about.
to back
I'm
on
thinking
top
what
of
fun
the
stack would
white
be like.
building.
It's like, what
I
was
got
the
loot
lowest,
and I
like,
camped
point
and I got
team
off and
kind of
camped
leading
on a
into 4th
tree.
game or 5th game to qual through on NA over the weekend, right?
I got
remember that
most
one point we
points
saw
out
a
of
team with
all
about 60 or
groups
so points pop up
in,
out of nowhere and take a game 4 win. So it really
Brazil.
is possible for anyone.
PR.
All you
Brazil.
gotta do
Wait a
is win
minute.
those contested drops, though.
Wait a minute. You see this, right?
the difference
We're looking
You
at
think
the
I
same
need to
thing,
go all
Veno
in
and
on
Angel.
console
And
PR
here's the
for now?
thing. When
Until
everything
FNCS
happened with
and
Shadow
stuff
and
starts
Virgo
back.
not qualifying
Well,
out
we're
of the
doing
heats,
LCQ
before
tomorrow.
Veno had marked a drop,
I mean,
it was
like,
this
after
man
that.
right here.
You
Kanata
think I
saw
should go all in
Shadow
on
and Virgo.
console?
He said I'm going there.
I
Veno
don't
said he's
know.
going there. Kanata and
If that's
Sphinx
like the
went
only
back
thing I
to
can
their
get
regular
PR
drop.
on.
So this could be a play out of Veno
What is
and
victory
Agers to
cups?
take one less team out of their path, out of this
I'll be doing
lobby,
those
and
too.
try to give them an easier road in the actual grand finals.
It's funny how that works out. We were just talking about Veno having the potential to do just that. You know, at one point, he could have looked to Peterbot's team, right, and tried to, you know, force them out of a game, but that ship has sailed, you know? Like, they already managed to get 160-plus points. So now Kanata's going to be really forced into an interesting spot. Take a look at the highlight.
Sonato's dead.
Find Soneto on the outskirts. Soneto was doing relatively okay as well, so really unfortunate for them to get there.
Peter Pollo, uncon sinister strip.
But just like that, they're forced to the last game.
Veno
Any
con-
last thoughts, though, Jacob, about what Veno and Agers are doing here?
I just think it's,
Why
you
is
know,
Peter wearing that
we kind of
stupid ass
thought
skin?
One way, but maybe, you know, Veno and Agers just had something planned.
Are they
all
just
along.
messing
I know
around now that they
Vivid
have
was
guaranteed
giving, you know,
wall?
Veno's outlook of why he even contested Peterbot and Pollo simply for that off-spawn practice, and it worked out so far, kind of crushing Bucky and Cam over towards the Heatwave Harbor, which is now going to work out for them because you imagine maybe they're uncontested. So I
Pollo's
think
got
Veno
the
and
mythic
Agers
for Peter.
might be playing the long game here with their spot probably already secured. They're looking forward to see how they can affect the actual grand finals lobby.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is going to be a very telling opportunity now for Kanata. He can back up Dimsy for a second there, walks all the way up to the opponent and shoots him before he even realizes what's going on. A lurk got lurked on. It's a tough spot to be in here.
It's Kiffy. See him bounce around, trying to get the minis. They canceled it out. He's only going to be able to get one off. Nimsy and Allen just have full control right now on the back foot, knowing that they have a huge lead here. So they basically have options. Is the damage they got okay? They can disengage, kind of start to build up that momentum, and that does look like to be what they're going to do. They're going to let Kiffy, Yami disengage. Battlewood is just one of those POIs where there's so many buildings, so many twists, so many turns. You can easily start to get aggressed on if you just get caught off guard.
Let's take a look at Curved Pigs here. Not quite the same boat as the Peterbots, the Boyos, the Venos, the Kings, but they're doing just fine for themselves. They're about an end game away from being very much solidified through. But their job's way more chill, right? Taking kind of this northern area all to themselves. Really no one here. I'm curious what their strategy has been actually to get their sewers. Very interesting that it worked out for them this way. But Peterbot, Boyo continue to fight the teams on the outside. This time, Peterbot once again getting bested here, but it's all good. Boyo comes to the rescue just in
I
time.
thought that was Peter, who, Pollo, who died, and I was about
Just kind of looking at
crashing
the
out.
one elimination out of both of them. They probably kind of disrupted the fight. Maybe one of those eliminations got stolen away. There is a team on the outskirts towards the northeast, not too far away, so you can imagine how that is affecting things. But now Veno and Aegis going from the top of the mountain, going after what looks like Dragon and Creon. Outside of the POI and any loot that could be there themselves, you got to imagine they're going after that mythic pistol weapon. You know, they're a team that does like to go for high ground at times. This could be the game where they set themselves up for a victory royale, and this could be the tools that they're looking for.
Very nicely done here. Again, they're still in the hunt right now. You saw Kanata's nameplate in the distance there. But Veno's just finding himself kind of getting back to his
Creon's like one tap.
fragging ways, you know? There was a point in time where everyone counted out and forgot about what he was capable of. Big Veno showing up here on NA. Alongside Aegis, who's really managed to find his way into the playstyle very nicely. Veno leading the charge here, though. They got the knock. Nice job with the follow-up there, and then the finish. Just like that, they get themselves 2 more eliminations.
Mino
They
got a good
secure
spray
the
in.
mythic pistol, and this is a massive upgrade to their loadout.
Yeah. May not have gone how they thought it would go in terms of the amount of damage they took themselves, but that plan overall is 100%
Bad lurk.
successful. They got what they were looking for. Kyrie getting lurked on. He spots it at the last second. A couple of quick shots there to try to slow things down, but he himself takes about 85 or so damage. Shield is there and gives him an opportunity to look up. He sees another team lurking in the distance, and now they're toying with the amount of options they have. You can fight the team down below, or you can try to
Why are
wait
people
and see
carrying
where
quack
this one
snacks?
goes.
Are those actually good to carry?
Yeah, Unreal Yana.
It gives you 50 health for 50 shield.
Does it give you both?
Loses the wall, gets a
No,
red
you're
base
gonna
behind
get
him,
one.
unfortunately forced
Let's say you get hit,
weird
if you're
position
200
there.
HP, right?
Yeah.
Just like that.
You get hit for 50 and you use that, it'll only give you 50 shield. Now if you're 100 HP and you get hit for 50 or
Slow
something like
down
that,
here just a little bit. You can see
you
not
use
a
it,
lot of shield
it'll
left
only give
over.
you 50 for
Runway
health.
and Echo.
But what if you have
Sure, the chances of
75?
them being able to run into a mending machine just yet.
I mean,
You
they'll
just
go
kinda
and
pick
use
that
some
one up
shield
throughout the
with
course
it
of
too.
their journey. Just
Oh.
gonna have a few speed
Okay.
bumps in the road, but
You have 25
something
shield.
that they can't handle at this stage in the game.
Yeah,
so
oh,
jump
that makes
on board
sense.
and continue to look around some of the teams around the map. 83 points right now for Scoodle and Kyan, which is kind of like on the line. And there is a little bit of a gap between where they're at on the leaderboard, 83 points coming into this game, to the next team down, which is Cyclops and Light on 69 points. So if they can keep that gap intact, that'll definitely be looking good. But Echo has just lost his teammate. They get caught slipping here.
Yeah, definitely a tough position. Both of these teams are both in the same point lead as well, so very much met with an even threat, but Echo is going to be the first to take the casualty.
Okay.
Jit playing the side angle. Love to see it.
Echo FN.
Medals there. You can see how much it's cost them, but now that they're down the medal, you really do want to finish this up ASAP. Not burn through your precious material. I think they're kind of feeling the same here. They've actually lost track of where this last weapon was.
And this is one of those things, like, you can continue to try to break some of these builds, look on the inside, but it comes at a risk of its own. You know, you can catch you off guard, hit a nice pump shotgun, switch to the pistol, finish off with a knock. So I don't think they're going to go ahead and take that risk. Take that small victories and continue to run with it. 2 games left, chances certainly running out. See,
The Unreal Ana guy
every POI. They're the
is
masters.
literally
They're the trolls,
a
and you gotta
mobile
pay the
guy.
troll toll to cross their bridge.
Is he?
Yep.
to jump back in with Venom and Aegis. I actually
That's
want the
cheating.
update from Kanata. Where did he go? Did he get his reboot is the real question. Because we already knew that his game plan was pretty straightforward, you know? But as he's jumping back onto Kiffy here. A wall take there, doesn't quite get it. Kiffy was fast enough to respond.
Aegis poking in on the other side. Trying to get something to sneak through. Not necessary bulldozing in just yet. They're inside the battle woods. The potential for so many teams to be in the distance, whether in the buildings or surge bases of their own, are going to be relatively high. As Aegis continues to watch one angle, Veno closes out options on the other, getting
Did you
control
say
of that
Peter's gonna
vending
win or
machine.
Veno's gonna win?
They're already
said
stacked up
Veno, you
outside
said
of
Peter.
materials, so I'm not
Okay.
sure what more they can be after.
It's a great stat to highlight what Aegis is capable of.
Kiffy
the
alert.
amount of damage he puts out. Again,
I go
very
2 for 2.
quiet player when it comes to his social presence.
I
but
think
the
last time we said both of
professional
us
player
said,
scene knows. If you know ball,
Clix got it.
you know exactly
I
who
guaranteed
Aegis is
it
and
though.
what he's capable of. So many accolades under his belt. Either way though, Yami and Kiffy continue to entertain the fight here for the vending machine. Aegis and Veno, I think, have done enough. Meanwhile, going to the high ground. I was curious as to how Higgs and Curve were managing to kind of sustain their damage.
How the
output.
heck did Echo get all the way over
They
there?
seem to just wait for opportunities to come their way, playing the general launch pad.
They're running
Especially
away, I
since
think.
they are on the north side of the map. I think in that incredible rotation, we did see Reed attempt to go
What is
ahead
Peter
and rotate
doing?
from Wonky Land all the way to over here. So you're
Wait.
seeing they're just kind of watching the outskirts. The teams that either in desperation mode to dodge fights or just simply just go around the map. As Peter bought Poyo going for a lurk. They're going to go ahead and shockwave up, force that player down into the palm of Poyo's hands, continuing to go on this chase. It's a situation we've seen far too often. Over-aggression lead to the downfall of one of them two, forced to pick each other back on up. But luckily for them and that team down below, they're going to be able to skirt their way out
And
to
they
safety.
got the
It's
vending
actually
machine
scary
back.
how fast they have the ability to take the walls, make the edits, and just be flawless. Their ability to navigate through the builds like that. Take a look at how things worked out for Kiffy, though. You saw Veno, Aegis kind of messing with the beehive
Oi.
here. Kiffy finds a nice little
Ooh.
shot onto Aegis.
Ooh,
then
little
wraps it up.
two-piece.
Gets the full finish as well. This is a minor setback now for Veno. A little taste of his own medicine here as he is now.
I'm
left
not
by
gonna
himself.
lie, Aegis been
A lot of
selling.
the update from Kanata. We're getting it here. He's in the storm and gets his pickup. Playing the long game
Is
there.
Sphinx or
Now they have
Muse the
Sphinx
one
back in
from
the game, but are
OCE
they too far behind?
that moved
turn
to
this
NA West
round
and then
to
to NA Central?
Most.
Yeah, they're already in the 4th zone, still in 1-tick territory. We're going to go to the 5th and then the 6th, so definitely on a clock to try to figure out what type of loadout they can lead
Veno.
with. This Veno lurking around by himself.
What the heck? The
He
pistol just
finds that elimination
shot him
on
2
the
times
clear.
and killed
He
him.
eventually does get the reboot like we're looking like here. They might have a body of loot that Aegis can quickly try to grab back on up. And you ask so many times, Curve, Higgs, how are they getting their surge? It's just these high mountain ranges, these tops, and all these teams lurking around for scraps.
Yeah, definitely. You see a duo right there kind of lurking nearby, trying to find the shots onto Aegis.
Not a single
Comes in,
shot hit
everyone
Aegis.
focuses on him, but gets away untouched. Tragic and Bolo still controlling the machine here. Plenty of heals for them to work with as well.
See you guys.
Not a bad situation. And that's the thing about, you know, Veno Aegis. You could put Pete and Poyo in that category. You can, quite frankly, put a few of our top teams in that category. Just because they go down, they get rebooted, and, you know, they have some troubles in that game, doesn't mean it changes their game plan any bit, especially since they know they have one more game. If they don't qualify here in terms of consistency, they could easily do it in the next game, if not pop off and get an actual win. So that's why you're seeing a different type of looseness than you would see in an actual Grand Finals lobby with 12 games, everything on the line. Storm Surge reappears again, 300 above for Cynics and Cirque. That's going to be okay for this zone, but they need to continue to accumulate that damage.
Cynic
so it
and
becomes
Cirque
less
might
and
be
less of a
able
worry as
to
the game
do it,
continues.
but they need a really good game.
That's right. Saw King and Craze find some elims there as well. We get to jump in with how things are happening on the other side of the map. They were at 2 elims here. They find the fresh team rotating deep in the storm. Couple taps, and just like that, a few headshots put them away. And that's going to put them up to 4. You know, they might be finding these nice, clean, quick
Bucky
elims
and-
here, but come Grand
Wait, Peter
Finals, I want to see what they can do.
Wait, is that Bucky and
against the
Oliver
increased
GG?
competition. 400 below though for Boyo here.
I have no clue, but Peter's dead.
Be a tough spot for them to be in.
Yeah. And this is the type of gameplay, kind of exactly what I was talking about. We get to see how Peterbot got eliminated. They're below 300, underneath the damage threshold. Even with all the resources in the world, that's the one thing you really have to fight for. And that puts Poyo on the back foot. And again, all of these early game fights, especially the ones that are stalled out, they're not as clean as you would think. So Peterbot and Poyo have taken a ton of damage in this game. And now Poyo is kind of left alone to deal with it himself.
I was going to say 400 below, you know, at this point,
Karen
we
is
see if
black.
he's got the masterclass on how to actually put up that absurd amount of damage. How good do you have to be a solo and find 400 points worth of damage? It's pretty tough. Kingling and Craze on the other side don't have that issue at all. For Kanata, he's already lost Sphinx once again here. He's barely holding on. Boyo does fall, trying to fight his way through two teams. Fortunate for him, but
Kanata revive him again.
With that team fall in there, those players there being his immediate competition as far as that damage surge requirement needed.
I think we both was wrong.
So that was very, very risky for Kanata
Pino's dead
to get on out. Has no idea who might be up above as we tune in though.
Right, never mind.
Not only have Peterbot and Poyo has fallen, Agers is down. Veno finds himself below the damage threshold, even though he does have med kits, chugs, and a whole arsenal to try to get that damage back. Eventually, Storm Surge will turn on and put him officially on the clock, just like Kanata on the other side, 351. Almost essentially 2 full eliminations worth of damage is going to be needed by Kanata.
Yeah, Veno's super confused. His team shot right above him. It was just a solo, but either way, he was probably wondering, how do they know he was there? He's got a moment to work with. Kanata getting pressured by the lobby. Can't afford to get tapped, but he's moving special here. Into a base he goes.
Yep.
Kanata crushes one player, but couldn't get the follow-up. There was a fresh duo underneath, but Plan Veno
he's a
here
flipping
because
drone.
They don't earn any placement points. Veno does it.
Why is he wearing the duck skin?
And he's just showing you how it's done.
Giving me deja
Dude's a
vu
drone.
of Major 1. He came to this region and literally in his first FNCS drops the most eliminations out of every individual in the lobby, taking first place along with Curved. And now he's showing why he is one of the best players in all the land, not just one region. Doing it again here. It's just the heat stages, just qualifying, but sometimes you got to put your foot down one way or another, and Veno is doing just that. But without Peterbot and Poyo, without Agers in the lobby, this could be a moment for a team like Craze and King to finally pop off and win the game.
Most definitely. But look at this, Veno.
Veno,
finds another
chill.
shield crack onto Zeely.
I
Runs
know
up
you're
on another
insane.
team as well, and he's just trying to catch another 2v1 for himself. Because why not at this point? That's a refresh for the Shockwaves. He's
Why
back
doesn't he
to
pick up
6
the
and a fresh
mythic
chug.
pump?
This is so much arsenal for him to work with. He surely can make the end game look nice and easy now.
Yeah, immediately you see him stay off that low layer as a solo. That's one of the easiest ways to kind of get trapped and caught out, as he immediately returns back to form here. He said 7 eliminations.
219. They have guaranteed fall
for
basically.
that one. Coming into this game, Veno and Agers were in first place.
That's
King
Peter,
and
right?
Craze were in second place on 178 points.
They have
We
165.
could see a new first place team after this game for sure. But Devade right now and Pessy needing a decent opportunity here. They're going to be on the high ground. And I think the only thing that they got that's not working in their favor is a max pool.
Yeah, definitely here. Just a singular shockwave as well, so they're gonna have to be really smart with the way they utilize this going forward. Storm Surge is once again active putting pressure on a few teams in the lobby, but King and Craze have nothing to worry about. They're just marching their way through anyone that wants to play the front side of the rotate, because they have the time, the luxury to go ahead and take these fights on their terms. They do very well when you allow them to initiate.
Man, they're just immediately staying on it. And these situations are dangerous. It's so easy to get third parties in their back, but they are so confident. Their 7th elimination, 1100 above the damage threshold.
Regular
goes
bird
to show
and
a lot of these
flow.
fights are ending so quickly, they're not taking too much damage as Veno continues to go off. From 7 eliminations last time we saw to 9 eliminations as a
Veno is
solo.
so good.
Almost looking at double digits as he just wipes the shielded HP off of Ozone.
Absolute menace. Not only him, but Craze and King Ling as well. Another 2 eliminations for them here, bringing them up to 8. They find Event and Pessy here on the box next door. They thought about jumping in there, but instead go to cut them off with the low ground rotate. Meanwhile, Veno's the one firing back shots here. They just can't get enough of each other in this game here. Comes the shockwaves through. That's the last of it for King and Craze as they opt to play the ultimate low.
This could be their chance right now to take first place. Veno was just eliminated out of this game by Boji. But I say that, and King just immediately gets targeted off into the distance. Golden, Ozone, Higgs, Curve, all looking their direction, trying to slow down such an incredible run they have been on. But Higgs and Curve, 150 points. If you take any of the 2 heats so far, they are not yet qualified for the grand finals with those points.
Yeah, kind of crazy, right? Considering how much endgame they've made. So not a lot of eliminations by any means, but definitely some big endgame placement points being earned. Meanwhile, Craze has lost King, but he's not being stopped from fighting teams. Playing so aggressively, pushes one back, forces the other off. He can't afford to touch the zone. And in the end, he does go down. High ground still held by Fleur and Regular, who have about 45 points right now. So this is the game win that they need to solidify their finals run.
Yeah, especially since a lot of the tough competition on top of the leaderboard, either in shambles or eliminated. And this could be their chance, especially with only 2 games left. But more and more teams are starting to look up. Regular is going to be the new team on the high ground. Max and Smiley are trying to chop him down. That's forcing him in the zone. 10 tick per second. He overstays his welcome. And now he's going to have to dig deep in his heal off. His second win condition is going to be forced out here in order for him to just stay alive.
You saw he almost choked for an opportunity there. He almost canceled the med kit. And Smiley now recognized that this team kind of loosened up their guard for a moment there. They fight for high ground. Smiley now takes full control here. They end up knocking one of the 2. Plur's left by himself. He's probably not going to be able to get the pickup here. Just like that, a new team's on height. This team can still qual through consistency, but why do that when you can fight for the win here?
Yeah, just take it. Run away with it. Higgs and Curve still up though, 174. Pessy's going to be down below, trying to go ahead and survive. He's at least able to get the knock onto 1 before eventually going down to a whole nother player. Curve wasn't even the one to get the elimination, and you see him needing it bad. He did not get the siphon, only 10 left on the Chug Jug, and a lot of his builds going right out the window. Spear Cash, they're trying to do just that. They were the ones taking Peterbot and Poyo's time, throwing it out the window. They survived their 4th elimination, make it 5 as he goes back to back. He just cleans house before going down.
Nicely done, though. A top 5 for him there, really fighting for it. Meanwhile, Smiley out of material count here. Shockwaves is up to natural high ground. They need to take the time here to refarm just a little bit. We all know materials definitely wins games. Curve, though, on the low ground, just trying to buy himself some time. Finds a leftover Chug. Okay, he's only got 10, but better than nothing at this point. 2 builds left. Meanwhile, Olzo, Golden, out of nowhere, had managed to survive the onslaught of the lobby. They were so far behind. Now they're finding themselves kind of in the race here. Curve might be the reason they can win, though, because the high ground team, we already know, doesn't have a lot of builds.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anybody even took advantage of the mending machine. As Curve gets a big elimination onto Allen. He missed out on that first opportunity at the siphon, but he will not miss out twice.
Yeah, come on, Curve, come on.
Only gets the builds, and those are instantly being burned through. Quickly hits the 180 shot before finally going down. That's Max and Smiley again. They were the ones that fought for the high ground.
Golden Ozone.
This could be the recipe for their success.
Definitely. Smiley's already down, though. He might be given the 1v1. Ozone, Golden, looking for it. They break the builds here. Ozone's playing the Storm. He's a little bit off guard. Nicely done for him. They get the 2, and now it's a 2v1. Dimsy's in the Storm healing. Ozone and Golden have so many seconds to play with, but he's got the mending machine.
What's the gold like? That's the biggest question. Ozone Golden, they have more than enough. He has the Chug Jug in the back pocket. The patch-up is going to come in. If he could buy the med kits, yes, that will be a lot cheaper. Back-to-back patch-ups, that could be the difference. Wasting gold on those situations could be the reason why he might not win. But Golden on the other side, multiple med kits in his inventory, and it's going to be enough. Golden and Ozone, a familiar
Come on, Golden
face. Welcome
Ozone.
to the grand finals.
Hey,
That's
listen,
insane.
and they deserve to be there. One of the few teams to
The
fight
first
their
hell
ways
off
to
I've
globals
seen
as well. You
lately.
saw what they were capable from land to now. They are slowly and surely showing us
He was wasting
they are
his gold,
improving
bro.
as a duo here. Well, the Victor Royale now, Zeke, is going to go to Golden and Ozone.
Fortnite fan.
Oh gosh.
I can't even believe this has happened. I want to give you some insight really quickly. Obviously, you know, we're telling a story here. We're following along with you, following on the leaderboard. We're building kind of what we're seeing. And during the break, we were like, man, you know, the one team we talked about, we haven't seen a lot of, it's Golden Ozone. Okay, well, where are they at? 29th place. Ah, man, they really need to have these like really killer last 2 games. Like, we really hope that they make it through. And of course,
They win.
Kelly, it always happens like this. Huh? It's like the moment we're kind of talking about someone off screen, it's like, man, we really hope they do well. They just come out and get a victory royale. 29th place doesn't matter when you can just get a win and secure a spot in finals.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer as far as games 1, 2, and 3 are concerned. We really weren't able to get too much of a highlight, too much of an understanding of what exactly was going on. Where was the fault in their plan? But obviously, we've seen the success from them out of the Div Cups, getting 2nd and 4th place. We've seen the success from them from the Summit LAN. So we knew that maybe it was just a matter of time. Maybe they needed to get their footing. As we always say during heats, this isn't the normal set lobbies that these top teams are used to. So maybe working out just kind of the little issues with their start, but figuring that out, you can see just how low their points were right here. Sticking to the low ground, they weren't going for anything flashy. They weren't going for a high elimination game. They were just playing some standard Fortnite.
Helos have been far and few between this season. Super difficult for anybody to kind of play for it because you do use so many of your mats on some of these rotates with just having those overdrive grenades available and not something to kind of send you further. But Golden and Ozone were still kind of prepared for it. They were still ready to play against. So we saw they had 4 med kits available. They didn't need all 4 because eventually Storm 6 played a part, but Golden and Ozone being prepared for heal off, even though we have not seen many throughout this season. Congrats to those guys. They played around the win, played it perfectly.
You know what's crazy as well, if we just, so I'm not gonna say what the points are, we're gonna see that after this break, but if we look at the points, that 104 point game, like total that they got, would have actually put them inside the bubble. That's why we say a single game can change the entire leaderboard for every single duel playing. That's why you can't give up and you just have to keep on fighting until the end. Okay, like I said, a break. Well, one more game to go. When we come back, take a look at the leaderboard. We'll set up all the crazy things that could happen, and then we'll get ourselves ready to find out who's gonna get that last VR and make it into the top 10. Stress is through the roof. We'll see you after this break. Oh no, I'm stressed.
I got here. I'm popping in that bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're mid play. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Milk can help you grow. Milk can't prevent your ride from blasting into space.
Welcome back to the FNCS Stress. Oh, I mean, sorry, Fortnite. I'm stressed. That's me right now. One game left to go before we wrap up Heat number 3 and start to get a more complete picture of who will be making it on to finals next weekend. Game number 4 goes over to Golden and Ozone. They were in 29th place. They needed to have some insane games, and they just decide, Zeke, it's fine. We had a victory out in our back pocket the whole time. Congrats to them. Now, we got to start taking a look at this leaderboard, Kelly. We got 3.5 minutes to kind of set up what is all going into this final game. Obviously, we want to give a big nod to Venno in that last game. Kind of put in a situation where he has to solo clutch, and Kelly, he goes on the solo clutch of his life.
I mean, to just see how many points they have right now, I'm looking to the other heats to just see what was the most amount of points we had. Maybe 240 points, 238 points out of 20 in Champ. And to see Venno being able to carry his team, being able to get this many points without even being able to get a victory royale, that means that he's able to make it to the end game and get a bunch of eliminations every single time. Venno and AJ bring out that double fragger that everyone's been talking about the start of this year, the new dynamic of duos that we expect to be at the top, and to just see how dominant Venno's been, I can expect that we're going to see this dominance continue in the grand finals.
Yeah, I love being proved wrong. Remember how last game I was like, yeah, Venno and Aegis, they seem to be all in as a duo, you know what I mean? If one goes down, they both go down, and Venno's like, nah. I can still solo clutch. Aegis can still solo clutch as well. An incredible run out of Venno right here. I mean, 9 eliminations as just by himself is absolutely incredible. They've been the most consistent team without a doubt throughout the day.
And that's why he is a 5-time champion. We got to turn the page too, though. Let's start talking about the bubble. So remember last time I said Golden Ozone, even if they didn't win that game, they actually have 104 points. The bubble right now is Kanada and Sphinx. Kelly Link, listen to me right now, Kelly Link.
No.
Kanada has never missed a finals of FNCS, okay? He is on the bubble right now. This is a dangerous game, a fine line we are walking right now, Kelly Link. If he doesn't make finals, I won't be here. I'm not showing up to work. I can't do it.
It's just crazy.
Now the extra pressure
came out of nowhere.
Kanada and Sphinx to not only qualify to the grand finals, but to also make sure that Zeke shows up is placed upon your shoulders.
I feel like if they don't, he's
Zeke
gonna
is
retire.
prime to blame him if they don't qualify through. But anyway, it's Kanada, it's Sphinx. You think that if anyone's gonna be able to clutch up, it's gotta be this duo right here. Kanada has proven himself to be so smart, so innovative when it comes to the meta not fitting to what he wants. And yes, maybe they're in 15th place right now, but Vivid, they got one more game. They got a chance. It's gotta be this, right? Kanada and Sphinx have to go through.
If they've got anything going for them right now, is that of course they have the experience on their side. But that point threshold is very, very low. I mean, 15th place right now is 100 points. I think over the course of like Heat 1 and Heat 2, we were around about 150. So, I mean, you got to imagine it might end up being like 130, maybe even lower than that. So they might not need that big of a game, but they are going to need a big game to absolutely and without a doubt secure it. I mean, 30 FNCS finals in a row for Kanada, including all of those LAN appearances. Surely it doesn't end now. I mean, obviously you would still have Tuesday as a last chance, but
yeah,
it's got to make it through Heat.
Yeah, look, this is Kanada, right? We just have to believe right here, right now, he can make something happen. We just had a pretty disastrous game last game where we have to reboot and all this stuff kind of unfolds and went wrong. We have to hope that they've managed to keep their mentals intact and they could just come in, do what needs to be done to secure a spot to next weekend finals. But that's the case for every other duo here, either in the bubble or sitting outside the bubble. And don't forget, a Victory Royale auto qualifies you to next weekend finals. If someone in that top 10 gets a VR, we're going to have a crazy final leaderboard. So for now, gear up, Fortnite fan. The last game of Heat starts right now. Casters, take it away.
Kanada.
Yeah, the pressure's on Kanada here. We saw the pressure on Golden and Ozone as well, who were very far off qualifying, and then they pulled a win, Jacob. So anything is possible when you're one of the best.
No, it definitely kind of leaves those nerves at attention here that, you know, you can either have a Victory Royale, hopefully one of those teams above you kind of loosen it up. As it's looking right now, it seems like we might have the lowest point total for a Heat so far of 2026. I don't know, things could change, but that's just what it's looking right now. So Kanada and Sphinx, they have a little bit of a blessing going their way.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I didn't think that it was going to be lower today. We did mention there's always that chance of randomness, but here we have it. Game number 5 is ready.
When you look back at our game winners, Booga, Braids, Reet and Cooper, Clix and Rapid, and then of course Golden and Ozone. Monster, those are 4 teams you could definitely see
now it's
inside
Vino's
of
turn.
the top 10. So I think this
No
heat
one's seen
is
Golden
kinda
and
destined
Ozone
for this type of finish, to where we were talking about in the beginning of the day. 3 points is the difference from last heat's average to this heat's average. We've seen 1 point play the difference between winning a championship, let alone qualifying for the grand finals, and it all comes down to this.
Yeah, in the end, the law of averages will work itself out. So we're going to see how it ends up playing out here. You know, coming into this game again, we didn't expect Veno to even, you know, make the pivot of a play last game. They decided to do so. They only found one of the 2 players. This time, Kanata and Sphinx surely are going to be much more sharper. They're going to be on the lookout. They're going to expect the unexpected. And they only need a few points. So I'm curious if they had a backup plan or backup strategy, or if they're just going to tighten up their drop. Right now, Veno is going to lose to Dragon, though, in the lead there. So you can see that already they're trying to, you know, again, land nearby and be the difference maker.
Yeah, we saw them go for this Mythic Pistol in that last game. Obviously, it was a little bit later on where they kind of had full loadouts and the jump on their opponents. This time, they're just taking the drop straight out of the gates, where you almost got to give a team like Dragon and Korean a little bit of advantage. They have been landing here, and they're playing with a lot on the line as well. We were talking about Kanata and Sphinx at 100. Korean and Dragon at 108 points. If they were to get taken down off spawn, they have to sit and watch their actual spot go by.
There's gonna be Lacey and stuff. Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch West for Arc and Lacey?
Like, Queasy and Victor V like to play for this drop.
Put on.
You know what happens if you have some like
Vino's
Korean
dead.
options, right? And then they all of a sudden
Vino's dead.
or decide for themselves, hey, we like this drop.
Yeah, Vino's dead.
Well, we'll just have to play it out. There you see Veno falling though.
Where did
Kanata's
Veno
fixing
go?
the other side. Still at the latte, still playing there.
He missed his drop.
Route, but this
Oh, he
time
missed the
hit
chest. He
here.
overshot it.
Not veering
Didn't
too
get the
far
gun and
off,
died.
not looking to venture somewhere that they can't support one of them.
Yeah, just gonna leave
Nada and
chances. They're not gonna
Sphinx
take
are
too
literally
many
just
risks,
landing on a
probably, unless
random
they have to
chest.
in this situation. So we're gonna see a lot of hip to hip out of Kanata and Sphinx, which could work out to them, because maybe, you know, another team jumps on them, or they're in a situation where they spot a
Veno
solo
made a
out, but
tree.
Vibe's gonna be chilling on top of that mountain. I'm not necessarily sure he's gonna go straight for an elimination,
did
but
Veno
any
say?
damage can put Kanata and Sphinx in a little bit of a hole. As Hunting Mako seems to have a good advantage here in their fight. They already got that 1 elimination and a little bit of elevation over Zeely.
Dragon or G, are you real?
Really interesting fight that's kind of
Laughing.
taking itself out to the
I'm on
coast here.
250 points and you
Hunt's gonna be the first
chase
fall, though.
700
Zeely ends
meters.
up catching him.
Well, you need claw.
And then the follow-up. Okay, so a little revenge here. For a second there, I thought he took his hands off his keyboard because he was thinking of emoting, but probably just pressing the clip button. Well played for him.
It's not something that happens every day. He hit him with a quick cutback, too. Like, he thought I was gone. Sight! Gets that elimination. That's got to be a big confidence boost. They're in a situation where they need a victory royale if they want to go ahead and advance to the grand finals, dodge that last chance qualifier. I think anything is possible, especially with the way some of our top teams have been playing. Just going straight for eliminations, not necessarily worried about going down. And this is where you see a little bit of a difference this time around. Poyo with the Warforged AR. Peterbot's going to go ahead and grab the other one. Maybe they switch back there, but obviously you can see the tricks that they have up their sleeve. We know throughout the course of the game, they're going to look to get aggressive. It's just a matter of who they're going to fight and what dreams they're going to crush.
Yeah, in last game they found themselves below the surge. We knew it was likely to happen after Peterbot was taking so much of that damage. Just really unlikely as far as how things worked out. But take a look at this. Bucky and Cam making the early rotate here as well, trying to get themselves situated for endgame 2. And they're falling into the hands of players like Gutterleaf, who will happily welcome anyone who wants to rotate by them.
Yep, free damage, free surge.
Doing.
They just continue to look down from above. Very, very similar spots over here where teams are just lurking around these mending machines, that underground tunnel. Now Peterbot and Poyo look to get offensive, and they're just narrowly going to be able to escape that porta potty teleporter. Push them down below, but at least they give them all the real estate up above to take control, use these mending machines, and just kind of rotate on to the next one. They're not going to sit idly by for too long. It's a team that I feel like just gets bored playing Fortnite, so they just key everybody.
Yeah, definitely an interesting play here, right? Like, they're trying to figure out what makes the most sense for them. I think, to me, this is more like prep for finals, you know? The way they've rotated towards different drops definitely seems pretty intentional right now.
Caron.
Curve on the other side, though. Finds a team. They already have 2 Elims, by the way.
This one almost leaves me scratching my head just a little bit. We were literally talking about Dragon and Creon. Yes, 108 points, maybe 111, because they did get that elimination onto Veno.
Oh.
And they lurk all the way to the side. They were looking for Agers. They chased Agers into their own demise. Now Curve and Higgs are here. Both teams essentially qualified to the grand finals already, but they could definitely play spoiler to what Agers has going on.
Agers has a man kick. Curve is like, dude, we know there was someone here. He's going to check for it. He checks the cone. You can see inside the cone, of course. Goes for the right camera peek. Agers barely misses that one, and off he goes. What a way for this one to turn around. Curve Higgs fired up. Agers gets caught out there. Well played. He did try. They did try, but it's Creon and Dragon in the end who end up really taking the bulk of the L here.
Chasing away that elimination. Obviously going to wait for confirmation, but starting the game at 108 plus the 3 points per elimination. We know where they stand on the leaderboard. So I feel like they're hoping and praying one of the teams above them on that leaderboard wins the game, alleviates the pressure at the bottom of the consistency teams that will get granted a spot in. Only time will tell how they're feeling when this one's said and done. Cash and Spear, another team that actually has a few moments throughout the course of today where you kind of look at them, it's like these guys, you know, can fight with the best. They held off Peterbot and Poyo for quite some time and even forced them to disengage from the actual fight. And they could just have one decent game. They don't even need anything phenomenal, but just one decent game. They could be one of the newest teams here in the grand finals.
Poyo?
Just got to touch the backboard. That's all they got to do. Poyo, Peterbot already swapped up the loadouts here. You saw the SMG exchange, so Peterbot back with the War4 JR. Losing to
Peter.
Minty, though, in Autumn here. Again, Peterbot getting shot more than we see him take damage often.
Poyo insane.
Really strong. Poyo comes back around there. Give me a second. Finish this one up pretty quickly there. Where was Autumn that entire time, by the way? Minty's just up there boxing with the best. Autumn's down at the bottom. Oh, no.
Poyo's dead.
Surely he's going to be yapping about this one.
Wow.
Whoa, wait a second. A monstrous shot. Shuts down Poyo. Peterbot's in a 1v1 now.
Yeah, this is gonna be a moment he's definitely going to remember. That wasn't just
Oh,
a
wait,
shot.
Peter,
It was a
let's go.
monster
Good
shot,
clutch.
but the builds are breaking,
Yep,
but
good
Pete
job.
is Pete. Goes back up, returns to the scenic ground to finish his job. Poyo drops down below. Typically, you could go over to the reboot van, but that's just gonna make way too much noise. So great heads up play by Poyo. Just waiting for Peterbot to finish that fight, get their 4th elimination, and kind of rise up the leaderboard. They do have a legitimate
There's a
chance
team
to
sitting
take
there.
first. They do have a little bit of a gap to overcome, but with Adrian and Veno no longer in
plus
this game,
game
that's the
Devado.
first place team out of action.
David.
Yeah, I
Right,
like how there's, like,
AFK.
probably an argument
no.
between Autumn and his teammate, and then he draws Poyo. I'm like, hey, he redeemed himself. Couldn't quite come through in the end. Pessy and Deveda this entire time. Remember, they were the team that was chased down the zip line, came back as well, just listening, kind of hearing this all go down. This is Peterbot and Poyo just taking control of that machine, by the way.
Yeah, just kind of leaving nothing behind. Going right back on up. He's going to get a good vantage view up above. Seeing what scraps of loot they can have to kind of finish off their loadout. And kind of go from there. I know this is not the last we've seen of Peterbot and Poyo, but Dimsy and Allen. Allen's going to go down. Dimsy now left by himself against Higgs and Curve.
Whoa! Higgs got one
Dimsy with a
pump.
big shot onto Higgs to slow him down. He needs the siphon for the HP. Shield's not necessarily going to be
They
a
are
worry here.
gone
And
for
with
this
Curve
game.
popping that chug jump, that's going to give him a little bit of time to try to get the shield off, but he trades shots, doesn't get the shield on back, and goes down. Dimsy and Allen will fall and will have to play through the LCQ.
Curve is so smart. You saw there, just cones in, just like, nope, I'm just going to chill. Zone's done enough for you. Either way, clutches it up. Look at this play. Look at this. Talk about having fun. This is how they have fun here. Just full sends another team just hiding in the big metal base. No problem.
Just gotta see what they can get away with here. Nobody really even looking in their direction. The third party Poyo gets one, stack them up, knock them down. 6 eliminations here in counting. You see 2 teams at Sanctuary, 2 teams on the west side. And again, nobody even lurking in this direction. I think they kind of see the feed and realize it's Peterbot and Poyo, and that is one bear you do not want to poke.
Let's take a look at it from Poyo's perspective the entire way through. Oh yeah, he literally leads that entire elimination right there.
Job.
Catches the nice
Peter
angle.
Poyo
Poyo
realized
doesn't
it's an
have.
elf, so maybe to
I
rotate
was
through
thinking
it.
about like, hey, if you were on the standings and you were like in the 100, low 100 team point range, like you would literally need all your competition to get dropped. And the way Peterbot is playing right now, he's probably the blessing in disguise for those that are struggling with
That Warforged ARs.
Whoa!
This is just madness right now. Seconds in the box is all it takes to get
Peter wants his win.
another couple of eliminations. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. This might be just one of those games
Clix
where
gets
if you
it and
don't
Peter
have
don't,
points
Peter's
and
gonna
you're
be
on the
upset.
line, where I was talking about some of the teams before
Course
where you
I'll go
don't need
ahead
to
and
win, you just need to do the bare minimum. This might be that game. This honestly looks like my trip in Division 2 when the Central players kind of come over to West, they W key the lobby. I just hide in a cone, let them do the heavy lifting. And I think that's the approach some of these teams might be taking.
Yeah, definitely. Look, 30 teams remaining right now. By far the thinnest lobby of the weekend here. Go figure. It's the most stacked one, right? You have the upper heavyweight players in the lobby here. And then you got just Peterbot, Poyo in the mix. Dominating. Pushing through all these poor players. Just trying to figure it out. Just trying to make it work. For some, it's their first finals opportunity. For others, they've kind of shared their way into those set lobbies time, few in between.
Ooh, that's a big shot by Centro to slow Poyo down for a moment. But then you remember it's a full duo in the box. 10 eliminations here so far. And just to kind of reference, they had the most eliminations in the play-in, 280. They had 10 plus eliminations game. They already have one. They had 6 20 plus eliminations game, and I feel like that's the next goal that they're after.
It's actually working out really well for Kanata and Sphinx. They're already in the new zone. No surge to worry about. They've kind of kept the low.
I think
profile
they
because
should
they
revert
wanted
back to
had
the
the
old
entire time,
surge.
right? They need those placement points.
How was the old
You
surge?
got Peterbot, Poyo thinning out the lobby.
Like if you get tagged back,
Thinning out the
you did
lobby.
not lose like
This is
surge.
perfect for them.
Wait, does it just go by like how much
Since they're
damage
already
you dealt?
inside of the zone.
Yeah.
Few teams still might come from that western and southern edge overall, but since they're already positioned there, full
Is that why
boxed up with
Moustache
some
was on
extra
Twitter
space, little
complaining
to
about
nothing
why
to
he thought
worry
it was
about.
awful?
Very, very similar to Higgs and Curve here, which
Everyone
aren't too
thought
far
it
away
was.
from where Kanata
They
and
first
Sphinx
come out,
are
and now people
actually.
They only did this
They've already
because
made their
everybody
moves
started
early,
surge
7
bases
eliminations,
and
so
done nothing.
not necessarily
Just
worried
traded
as
with
you
each other?
see King and Craze continuing to go on the
I
frenzy.
mean,
That's the
besides
first
Peter, he would
elimination
kill
of this
everybody,
game,
but
and
now
it
he
already
can't.
looks like they're gonna lock up number 2 here, eliminating that full duo.
He is
from
right
the
now,
lobby.
but
That was nicely
Is that why
done,
like
too.
old
They did
surge you
that
seen Peter with like
while
20k
rotating their
over?
way to the new zone, so it's not even like they're like intentionally looking for the W key there. That
Peter
was
just
landed.
keep it for surge back then.
Peterbot, Poyo chasing right now. Who did they find? They just see a solo and they're just gunning their way outside the storm line there.
Once you ask, you shall receive. Who did he find? Kugo. At least it's just a knock. At least it's just a knock, and Castle is still alive. So their dreams aren't over just yet. Definitely have taken a turn, especially since we are in the 5th zone. It's already a 2-tick, and once here in a few seconds, we're going to move into 6. And this is where that 5 points of damage for every second you are in the zone. So if you're not in the safe spot just yet, you're going to have to beeline your way there.
Burst is starting to
You
melt
see more and
people.
more teams trying to accumulate that storm surge damage. Even in accelerated lobby, it's still a thing in the back of some players' minds. Everyone except for Peterbot and Poyo.
But no way.
Okay, but Peterbot's down. Poyo's here. Finds the follow-up, the instant elimination, but no, the thirst comes through at the end. This is 13 elims now.
Come on,
I mean, he
Poyo.
clawed no matter what, but
Is Poyo gonna go for the reboot though? Just a real question.
Poyo going for the reboot?
Oh, this is King and Craze.
hell yeah.
He's going for the
Pretty
reboot.
sure. Yeah, there's
Oh,
one on top of
But
the
that's
mountain. I
the
was
type of
thinking
stuff I
Frosted
expect you to
Flats,
do.
it might be too far away. Then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure there is a second reboot. Pushed or not, he's going to have to go ahead and get aggressive here. Big shots could be fired off, but he's taking over 180 damage just like that until he's sprayed down by King and Craze. One hunter into another.
If we're guaranteed qual, then I would fool
again,
around like that.
We made all these
You think they're
references
laughing about
King
that
and
right
Craze,
now?
The other team in this lobby thinning things out. And you just shot the wrong duo on the rotate. They have nothing to lose. You saw how fast they just turned. In a normal grand finals, that right there never happened.
They
Never
would do it even if they wasn't.
into the storm, away from the safe zone. But all good. Entertainment was there. Curve and Higgs, though, on
Would
the
you do
pressure
it for
right now.
me?
Who's that they're fighting?
Oh,
I thought for a moment because I saw in the feed
And why is
that
that?
they did take down Sphinx. He is
Other
fully
solid
eliminated
clubs.
out of this
That's
lobby,
whenever
but
I
that
like
might have
going
been
to
the
first state.
blessing for Kanata. A whole nother team pushing in to try to disrupt that fight. This is how
Whenever I
they
become
found
solo,
that
I go flow
elimination,
state and
rotating
I'm
from
insane.
Frosted Flats, trying to
Makes
make their
sense.
way on
That's
over.
when I
You can
start,
see
like,
he
giving you,
wasn't
like,
able
all
to
kinds
actually
of
get the
comms,
revive, so
so.
Kanata now in this game as
Yeah,
a
see?
solo. He's
Whenever you
right
give me
below
all
all
kinds
the
of
actual
stuff,
Higgs and Curves.
we do
How
good.
badly does he want to kick? Curve and Higgs actually have 9 elims as well. Talk about a huge game for them.
Maybe
right
try
now,
to
just
give me
happened
all
out
that
of nowhere.
stuff
The zone
while,
is going to double back though towards Kanata. He
we're
might
both
be
alive.
able to count his
No
lucky
promises.
stars here. Now,
Wow.
I kind
I
of have
don't
a
know.
problem with this though. You don't have Pewdabot.
Look
in
at
this
Curve's
lobby anymore,
loadout, bro.
So they're not going to continue to be keying unless King and Craze, Higgs and Curve keep pushing the rest of this lobby. Everyone else is playing for the win.
Is Kanata a solo? Yeah.
I feel like now we have begun Game 5 of Fortnite. If you're lucky enough to make it this far in the game, got yourself a real shot. Kanata, remember we saw Dragon and Creon go down around 111 points. So he is still the person to be around 10th place on the consistency leaderboard. Just needs to go ahead and get a couple more placement points or another couple of eliminations here. That'll put him at least above Dragon and Creon. A little bit of a cushion starting to be built.
He's got a lot of kind of area to play with here. This is all his old
They
zone.
may
Just
need
trying to
the
utilize that
LCQ.
wood the best that he can.
Tomorrow,
Get
yeah.
to the front now.
You and Logan's probably about to start
Again,
doing yours.
all that matters now is that he earns himself some placement
They're
points. I'm
up.
thinking he's going to need probably
He
30,
ain't
maybe
home.
40 points minimal. But no, Curves sees the solo here. He's
I
already
can't do
pressured
it.
them once.
Unless you
Kanata
do
doubles
it.
back. This is good, though. He's got that all under control. Curve recognizes there could be danger there. These are metal boxes he retreated to.
But if I'm doing it, I'm just going to kill
Luckily for
everybody.
him, there was all that space
mean,
for him to go in, which makes it, like you're saying, so
just a
risky
rank
for
cup,
Higgs
I'll
and
kill
Curve. They're going to
everybody.
slow it down
Kanata
just
just
a little bit.
posted
They realize
saying,
the stage
GGs.
of the game that we're actually into these
But
moving
just Higgs
zones.
and
One
Curve
mistake could cost them an opportunity here, even with their spot already secured. If we find ourselves with a Higgs and Curve victory royale, again, the bottom of the leaderboard will shift up just a
Kinda
little
early.
bit. So you got to look at the silver lining in a lot of the situations here where they already have 10 2400 above the damage threshold. I think that's just as impressive as the 10 eliminations themselves.
Leading the lobby right now, leading the pack here, doing very, very well for themselves. Look at this. This really isn't even a real mid-ground layer. Like, Higgs and Curve kind of have this, like, chill lobby. This is what happens in the end game when you start to really push players to their limit, and everyone is so low on the standings and out of the race that they need that win for Grand Finals. This is exactly what happens. Meanwhile, Kanata, more pressure than anyone else right here as a solo, takes down one. Can't quite get the finish as he has to rotate through, but he leaves that player in the storm. He might be able to earn himself some placement points here, and of course the elimination points. We'll see.
Definitely see why he just made no play for the actual loot. He's pretty stacked for the most part, especially considering he's a solo. Max is finally going to get cleaned up, so he does get his points. 111, tying Dragon and Creon on the overall leaderboard. One more team needs to go down. Who kind of passed them, start to build that cushion. But you can see how dangerous of a position not only he, but Spear is on the other side. 134, much farther up on the leaderboard. But you could even have that feeling that maybe it's not over just yet, but he is so close to qualifying.
I don't know how I feel about the ultimate low ground play, but he goes for it. Meanwhile,
Bucky's
Bucky
dead.
and Cam try to make the heroes effort play
Bucky
for
needed
high
to
ground.
win.
But Cam is left by himself as it turns to a failed attempt. In the end, Higgs and Curve thwart their attempt. Cam now forced to heal. Kanata falls at 115, Jacob.
Uh-oh. Now you're really starting to feel that pressure, Monster. 13 eliminations, though, for Curve and Higgs. They're continuing to light up the leaderboard. Top 16 situation. 3 players, Monster, running around as solos down below.
You need
done
one of
after
these
this?
big dogs to take
Huh.
this win right now. You need
We
King or
done after
Craze to
this?
do it.
Taking a shower.
If you're
And,
on the bubble, you want someone above,
might
you
take a
don't
nap or
qualify
something.
at this point in time. Higgs and Curve are still
Oh,
fighting.
Logan's not home, and I can't
King
practice.
and Craze just are dominating here
You
now.
can play that solo thing until I
Pressuring
get back
everyone
on.
down low, creating the
Solo
blender
thing.
for the rest of the competition here. I
Solo
still see
in-game.
Skittles up. Oh, look at this.
Oh,
Kane
I'm
and
playing
Skittle
solo.
actually just jump up over the 120 mark. That's the placement points that everyone else is
It'll
trying to
make
fight
me
for.
mad, and then I
Here
won't
goes the
play
high ground
good
fight
later.
again. It's Leaf this time, but he's not going to have enough firepower there.
Or instead of
King
nap,
and
I might
Craze
just
take a lot of damage, but they
I
have
might
enough
be
to
editing a
kind of
video,
maintain control here. Craze trying to finish what he started.
which
Goes to
probably
the
will take me an
outskirts,
hour
goes
or
to the wall,
two.
take Curve
And I'll
by
be
the
back
heel
on
on
around
low
9 or
ground.
10.
Off to the front side he goes. This is all up to
No,
King Elec now.
I'm
High ground solo.
on.
Yeah, both Curve and King both as solos. They were the ones.
Are you
that
not
were
gonna
left
watch
alive,
West?
Kind of affecting the lobby the most,
Watch
especially
Lacey?
after Veno, Aegis, Peter Poyo no longer around. So this is
Kinda
where
care
you
less about
really
it.
have to push yourself forward. Top 10, half of the placement points already, but the lights get shut out. King gets another elimination as he makes his way back on up into the clouds, kind of give him a bird's eye view, but it's not going to be for free. Zen fighting for it
Zen?
before he eventually has fallen. Him and Paper will get sent
thought
out.
Bucky and
Curve
Zen was a
turns back
thing.
to the scene of the crime. This is his high ground. You are just a placeholder.
Just why not? Why not
Didn't-
continue to
didn't
fight
go
for it?
home
They're just having
and
fun at this
bonded.
point. Curves
Higgs is dead.
smashing the lobby right here. Finds another solo. There's just a singular duo down
Curve
there kind of
better
in the
win.
mix. But it doesn't matter. Cirque here at 164. Surely he's done enough now. He's just fighting his way through this end game. Saf here finds himself at 136, playing the storm line. He's not going to have enough time probably to go for the next one. Curve finds him as well. 15 eliminations and counting here, Jacob. He's now focusing in on the other solo who's trying to run back to the storm line. That's a fresh elim there, and he's trying to fight for 20, but Bolo,
Curve.
tragic at 89 points, but Curve is still fighting for it.
I've never witnessed
Wait,
such
hold up.
greatness. Curve, 16 eliminations, already
Oh my
17.
God.
16
Dr.
elims.
Yes, 70 on the chunk.
Holy.
Blocks off the shot.
Oh! Oh!
Curve, 18 eliminations as a solo. He has stolen today's show.
21 total, but Curve puts the lobby
Holy!
in his pocket and to
That's
the
a- that's
bank.
an insane clutch,
That is
not
how
gonna
you
lie.
put him away right there, Jacob. What a fun way for us to close out the Heat 3 here. Zeke, I mean, give us your thoughts now.
Curve! Curve!
Oh my gosh!
God! Curve! No way, dude. No way. By the way,
insane.
no big deal. FNC is champion, by the way. Curve. Oh my gosh. This kid has been up on the rise. I've had the pleasure of meeting his family back at Summit. We had a chance to talk to Curve mom and dad, some of the sweetest people you ever seen in your life. I'm telling you right now, his dad is probably screaming at the top of his lungs right now, which is what I
Yeah.
want to do in
What's
celebration
Papa
as well, but I
Curve
gotta
doing
make
right
sure that,
now?
like we do a show here. Kelly Link, Curve just solo clutched a game in
What
its
do you mean
entirety.
you're not gonna scream at the top of your lungs? That's exactly what you just did. That's what we were
did.
all doing. Zeke, Vivid, everyone watching at home. He had more eliminations than any other duo had together in a single game. And if you actually look at the leaderboard, he might have more eliminations than a lot of duos together. 18 eliminations from our reigning NAC champion Curve. You gotta think
Clix
that
is
Higgs
first,
is super
by the
happy
way.
with this pickup right now. They've been looking good all day, but that game solidifies it.
Listen, Levin's little
Wait,
fantasy
no.
league that he's
Those
created
good
for us
clutch.
here for the FNCS had me so invested in that
Person
game.
Higgs probably in
Because
first.
I had Curve on my team, and I was loving every last bit of that. I mean, the guy was up on high ground. Not even Wendy was just specifically up on high ground.
What the
That
heck, bro?
pistol
I mean,
in hand, like
holy
That
Curve
pistol in the
Higgs
hands of a
or was
controller
Curve
player.
in like an aim training little map or something like that, because anytime somebody was on his screen, he was just hitting the shots super clean out of Curve. I mean,
Alright,
look at this.
I'm
He's got
gonna go.
7
Alright, see ya.
going into, he's at 7 zone right now. He picks up 10 more in just the last final zones here. Incredible work from Curve.
18 eliminations. 18 eliminations. Guys, I just want to say, obviously, like, that was an incredible game, but I've just
What
been
the
so impressed
heck,
by
bro?
so many of the duos. we've seen across this weekend that are newly
That's
formed,
just insane.
coming into this. They're all have their
Oh my gosh, bro. Alright, well, maybe video later, guys. See ya.